Mark Out of 10, the wrestling podcast where a chokehold is not a punch and we verbally threaten the lives of billionaires everywhere. First of all, I do want to apologise. There's going to be another delay on the babyface list because, folks, wrestling has never been so busy. A WrestleMania review, the fallout from WrestleMania, and a little backstage confrontation is revealed. You're going to sit back, relax, and listen to a couple of guys talk professional wrestling and whatever AEW does, because, baby, that ain't wrestling. First of all, I am the Mark Smart Shieldz, and my co-host. When one story finishes, he starts another. The playboy of Muten, the housewife's favourite heel, Hawxy. How you doing, Hawxy?
I'm doing really good, mate. I'm doing really good.
I couldn't look at you there when I was doing that intro, so
I was trying not to pop big time, just like no, don't do it. That's a good one, mate. That's a good one. Oh, dude, it's been
a long week.
It's been that. It's been that. I'm very, very excited for tonight, though. I think I'm probably more excited for tonight than I was last week. Sure. Not as excited I was for WrestleMania, by the way. And
we'll talk about it shortly. It's so
good. It delivered. But yeah, man, there's a lot to talk about tonight.
Yeah,
we've been going on.
We called an audible, and I know we've still got the babyface listed. The babyface lists are complete, right? And you're not going to hear when it and when it comes round to it, we're not going to go, this was a difficult list. That's
when
not
we
going to
come round to it, I'd probably changed it.
Yeah, I'll probably change it.
I'd be like, hold on a minute, I'm not too sure on this. But yeah, we got some good feedback from last week, though, didn't we, dude? Like, let's not gloss over that. Well, the feedback from last week's show was really good. Just that little change and the discussion, because we couldn't, the same as tonight, we can't not spend time on it. We can't rush through it. We can't be like, oh, we need to get through this because we got to do this, that, and the other. Like, I think it's of everything that's happened this week and this weekend. I think it'd be nice to sort of decompress from it and take it all in and just have a bit of time to talk about it. But it's going to be good fun. I'm so jacked up still, dude. Yeah. Honestly, it's been wicked.
I think just to touch upon like what Hawxy said there, it's like we did get some really good feedback. So thank you to everybody that does listen to the show. It is greatly appreciated. The list isn't just a gimmick, right? It's a thing that is going to be a mainstay of the podcast. But when massive events happen, either newsworthy events or actual pay-per-views or PLEs, we're going to spend time to do a preview and a review of the actual show once we actually watch it, right? It just makes sense. So it's not just WrestleMania. It could be like a Rumble. I think we haven't talked about it, potentially the top 4 pay-per-views for WWE, something like that.
The Big Four, maybe.
The Big Four, I think so. Yeah. It makes sense, right? And then, because especially the way WrestleMania went, I think the top 4 pay-per-views are going to be fucking incredible moving forward. But that's just my opinion. We'll obviously look at AEW as well. Again, I sort of went on a bit of a rant, if you saw the TikTok I released earlier in the week about AEW. I did say fuck AEW. I still sort of mean that a little bit, but we will revisit AEW as and when they have a pay-per-view. I mean, Dynasty's coming up. I think it would be an interesting one to watch and potentially review. Might not preview it because I haven't personally watched a lot of AEW in the run-up.
I've never missed anything. Yeah. Hand on heart, like genuinely, I never missed the show from the very first Dynamite when Rampage came on, and then with the early days of Collision, I never missed anything. But from August, obviously something pretty big happened in August, which we'll discuss a little bit later on. But basically from August I haven't really watched it. Like, I've tried to drop in and see stuff, but it's just obviously we watched what was it? What was the name of the show? The money thing?
Big Business.
Big Business, that's it. We watched that and
fucking horrendous.
Yeah, I wanted. Yeah, we'll talk about it in a bit. But yeah.
Absolutely. But we're going to get started first. But first of all, I'm going to do a plug of all our socials. If you haven't done so already, make sure you do follow our socials. Repost the podcast. What's it called? Share the podcast. 5-star it because it helps us with the algorithm. Thank you. Also, make sure you do follow us on Twitter. You could also use any of our footage. We're not going to take it down. We're not going to copyright strike it, and unlike some companies. Make sure you sub to us on YouTube, all at Market of 10. We're on TikTok and on Instagram as well. And you can also email us at wrestlemark10@gmail.com. But let's talk about it, Hawxy. WrestleMania 40, WrestleMania XL, the largest of all time. Thoughts, first and foremost. Just a general overview before we go through each match.
I fucking loved it. It was... For me, it's probably one of the best WrestleManias ever.
Yeah,
it maybe top 5 for me.
Oh, easily.
There's potentially a top 3 situation, depending. I need to decompress on it a little bit more. I'm still riding high on the wave that was WrestleMania XL, but no, like there was one bad match for the whole of the weekend for me, and it was just it felt different but familiar. It felt fresh. It felt real. Felt like a real thing, if that makes sense. It's hard to explain. We'll go through it as we go through the show. The big podcast in hand, the running then. But I loved it. It had the right amount of everything. It had all the sizzle, but it had all the steak as well. I fucking loved it. I loved it. Really, really did. What say you, Shieldz? What say you?
Yeah, I think I definitely agree. It's probably one of my favourite WrestleManias in a long time. It's like you say, there's probably one weakest match. I'm not going to say a poor match because the build up to it made sense. But for me, from top to bottom, possibly the strongest WrestleMania card I've seen.
Potentially, yeah.
It's like, we can cherry pick matches from different WrestleManias. Rock Hogan, Stone Cold,
from start
Rock,
to finish.
From start to finish, I think the card will stand up against any wrestling pay-per-view or PLE, any card
ever.
Of
any show. Yeah, I agree.
Really, really excited. So we're going to go through night one. We are going to talk through each of the matches, our thoughts, different points in the match. Then we'll take a small break and talk about AEW, and then we'll go back to night 2 and talk about night 2 as well. So night 1, Hawksy, 72,543 people in attendance, a good first night crowd, and it starts off with a strong match. Rhea Ripley, the champion, versus Becky Lynch.
Just quickly, it started off with Triple H coming out. We'll rewind that back a little bit.
Sorry.
Mate.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely
Triple
right.
H, new time, new era. You know what I mean?
Pushing that hard.
Big time with that Paul Levesque era or Triple H era, whichever way you want to put it. To open up the show and him come down and just sort of thank everybody. And
I'll cut you off there. It actually started the night before at the Hall of Fame with Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
I'm forever, and for prosperity, I am a Paul Levesque guy. And can I just say, just a side note, Paul Heyman's speech, if you haven't seen it, you need to fucking watch that speech.
Go on, watch it.
One of the best Hall of Fame speeches I've ever heard in my life. I've got goosebumps now just thinking about it.
We had a quick chat about this the other day, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about, like, I always thought he was probably number 3 on the mic in terms of like managers and stuff for me, but just that whole Hall of Fame start to finish thing was he's probably 1A now for me.
It's just incredible, right,
dude? Everything.
He was on both our lists for on mic work, right?
Yeah,
he was number
overall
1 for me.
Yeah,
but for you, he was on. I think he was number 5 for you, which is absolutely fine considering who you had on the list. But as I said at that time, he has the ability to grab the audience and just keep them in the palm of his hand. It's just, and everybody says the same.
Anyone who can get the line in, you can suck my fucking dick in a Hall of Fame speech.
And it popped everybody. Even Stephanie McMahon in the crowd, she just looked at Hunter and was like, she's clapping. Yeah, fair play. It's so good.
You've seen Randy Orton's reaction.
He got up and slapping the ring.
Slapping the ring, like, yeah, brilliant.
It's so fucking good. And like,
I watched it with my dad-in-law, and he's not like a big wrestling fan or whatever. Like he used to watch World of Sport when he was a kid or whatever. You know what I mean? Everyone did. But I put that on just for that speech, and he was laughing his head off. He was pissing himself, but he was like, "This is bloody brilliant. This is bloody this class. This." And then we put Stand and Deliver on, and he was popping and marking out for some of the matches on there. So that night was a decent presentation, put it that way. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, go out your way and watch it, start to finish, everything phenomenal.
Yep. But that was the start. Sorry to interrupt you. That was the start of the whole Paul Levesque era, right? Yep. And like you say, Triple H came out, got the pop. I mean, who doesn't like hearing the Motorhead, right? It's like, it's got to be done.
Exactly.
And yeah, Oklahoma, fucking dog.
Oh, poor Tucker. Poor Tucker. Poor Tuk. Oh, bless him. But yeah. Get involved. YouTube, TikTok. Fucking everything. Mark and score out of 10. Mark out of 10. Just go and share it. Go and share all the stuff. Go and check us out. Go and give us a look. Give us a view. Give us a share. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a subscribe. Whatever. All the bits and bobs. All you got to do is go and share some shit because it helps the algorithm. There we go. I was doing my best attempt at social media plugging them, mate.
Nice.
You'd be proud of me.
Cheers, mate.
You wait till you hear it in post, you'll be absolutely amazed.
Yeah, if you don't hear it, you know it was shit. So
yeah,
you're probably going to hear Tucker bark a little bit tonight because he's been a barky wee fucker all day. So I love him, but he's a wee dick. Anyway, what were you saying? Sorry.
We started up for the first match for night one.
Yeah, Triple H came out, done his thing, and then the first match, really strong match to start. Rhea Ripley, the champion, versus Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch was ill. She had strep A all week, which is like, it's just a horrible like infection, isn't it? Like a viral thing, high fever and bad throat and that sort of stuff. She got the cooties, man. She had the cooties. But yeah, dude, what a match though. What a match.
Before we get into the match, can we talk about the entrances? Rhea Ripley's entrance was cool because she was live sung to the ring. But Becky Lynch's entrance was phenomenal. Obviously, Becky Lynch
from a book, wasn't it? Right?
Yeah. Becky Lynch is releasing her autobiography, The Man. I think it's out now. She's New York Times bestseller. But the precursor, if you haven't seen Mania, where the fuck have you been? Like under a rock. Watch Mania. The precursor is she was reading excerpts from her book before the entrance starts, and then she came out, and as you said, Hawxy, the excerpts on her ring gear. It looked incredible, right?
She looked amazing. They've both got all of it, haven't they? You know what I mean? Like they're just absolutely dripping in it. Basically, the pair of them. I was surprised that this was the first match on the show. Usually, like a big match, because that's one of the sort of marquee matches, isn't it? This Rhea versus Becky match. They're both high level talent. They're both top guys, inverted commas if you're listening on Spotify. Top guys in the company. To go on first at WrestleMania, on this big of a WrestleMania, there's a lot of pressure, a lot of stress and strain on there. But they went out there and they just nailed it. What a match! Beautiful, beautiful storytelling, amazing psychology. You'll hear me say those two lines a lot during this podcast. So if you get bored of it, I'm sorry, but that's the only way to explain it. Lovely near falls. There's a few times like Becky had like the disarmer on and all that sort of stuff where it looked like she might be getting it. What's her finish? Manhandle slam?
The manhandle slam.
Manhandle slam. Like just lovely near falls, and then obviously we get Rhea with the retain, with the win. And dude, what a match! Yeah, what a match!
It was so good. Like you say, there was ups, there were downs, there were spots where Rhea just got to show the absolute strength that she had. And I agree with you. It's a case of those two at the moment are, for the women's division, like Rock Austin type stars for the women's division. You know,
million percent. Yep.
And the women's division, and I was going to say it's not even close for the rest of them. I suppose technically it's not. There's still a big distance between the people that are underneath her, but I'm really excited to see where, like, the likes of like a Jade Cargill, when like Charlotte comes back. It's like everything that can be intertwined there. It's just so good. Yeah, phenomenal. And going back to where you say it's like you were surprised it started the match. If I actually look at the card, it makes the most sense when you think about who was on. Like, you don't want to put the ladder match on first because that just exhausts the crowd because it's just a spot fest, right? The 6-man tag, the tag team match, Rey Mysterio and Andrade, which we'll go into in more detail, obviously. You couldn't put that first because although it's a storyline, it's not the strongest storyline that's been presented. Jay and Jimmy, I think people need to be sort of warmed up to that because we didn't know if it was going to be good. You couldn't put Jade, Bianca, and Naomi on first because would the nerves get better if Jade, our first main event in terms of like wrestling a proper match as opposed to a rumble. So it does make sense there. It got the crowd hyped. They were a safe pair of hands, right? It's like they're two really experienced superstars. So it makes sense when you think about it in hindsight.
Now, I'm a big fan and a big believer as well. I've helped like book cards and stuff before.
Yep.
Obviously, not fucking Wrestlemania, but I've helped book shows and book cards, and I'm a big fan and a big believer in putting a high energy match on first. Now I know Rhea and Becky, you could say, does it get much higher energy than a title match with two big stars? Like, people will argue against that. That's fine, whatever. But I like the idea, looking at that card for that first night, I potentially could have put Rey and Andrade and Santos and Dominic on and just had them, because their match, their style was very lucha.
Yeah.
There was obviously a story throughout and that sort of stuff. Yeah. Obviously there was a bit of a schmoz or whatever, but like they could have went out and been like do, you know what I mean, done that lucha style high energy match, 10, 12 minutes or whatever. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying for me to put that on first was a surprise for me, but fuck me, it started everything off, didn't it? Really, you know what I mean? Like it was. I'm not arguing. I'm not moaning about it. I'm just saying, like, it was just weird for me that they put such a big. I think there was a Mania a few years ago, and it was like Brock and somebody was on first. There was like a big title match on first or something. I can't remember. But I remember watching it thinking, like, why the fuck is like a world title match on, like a WWE title match on first? It was well weird. But yeah, dude, honestly, mate, fuck it, loved it. Absolutely loved this match.
So good.
There could be an argument. I might have to rewatch the Charlotte and Rhea match and rewatch this one again. I potentially think this one could have been better than the Charlotte and Rhea match. They're different kinds of matches. This one was a lot shorter, but
this was 17 minutes. That's
17 minutes.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 39. I want to see how long the match was with Thingy, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not complaining. I'm not saying like the Rhea and fucking Charlotte was a bad match or anything like that. I think I might have preferred this one. I really do.
Do I know why I think that is, though? Right? I think with Rhea and Charlotte, they're two big girls, right? Like hard hitting. And I know Becky can hit hard, but this one looked like a proper underdog babyface in Becky Lynch. You know, it just
fighting from underneath.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what it looks like. Whereas it didn't really have that same with Charlotte. I'm trying to find the.
It's 23 minutes and 35 seconds was Charlotte and Rhea, so it was a longer match, 6 minutes longer, which is a lot longer, but
considerable.
Yeah, like I think that match last year was probably my favorite. I think we spoke about this at the time, didn't we? That was probably my favorite match for the whole of those 2 nights, potentially.
Yeah, we both said that, yeah.
But I think Rhea and Becky was just the right amount. Wasn't too much, wasn't too little. They got their shit in. They took us on a nice adventure and a nice story and brought us through all the acts. And great payoff, and the best woman won. Basically,
absolutely.
Like people say, "Oh, Becky's going to be doing all this, and she's getting older, and blah blah blah." blah. Like what you've just said there, the whole sort of Rock Austin thing. This ain't going to be the last time we see this match, and it won't be the last. It won't be the same result the next time, and they'll be flip flopping and doing this for a good few years to come, definitely.
And the thing is, as well, is we say it all the time. There are certain superstars that require a title. Becky Lynch is not one of those stars.
Yeah,
she is
agreed.
a superstar without a title. Like she's just a phenomenal talent, and Rhea is Rhea's the best thing in the business just now in terms of women wrestling. Like I don't, Becky underneath, and then obviously we've got the rest. But those two just.
It just shows, though, dude, how strong the women's sort of. I hate using the word roster, but it's like the women's roster in the WWE is just incredible, isn't it? Right? You look at the guys who they've got in there. I say guys, like you mean the Royal guys, yeah. You got Rhea, you've got Becky, Charlotte's there obviously when she comes back, but she's there. You've got your Bianca Belairs, you've got your Jades, you've got your Baileys, you've got Asuka, Kairi Sane. Like Dakota Kai now is just like leveled up massively. Io Sky, like that's just
Naomi. I'm still convinced Naomi, when she gets back up to speed, because I think the fact that she's been out of WWE sort of way of matching is the thing that's holding her back. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt, because before she left WWE, she could go, and our matches were really entertaining. So right now she's got massive go away heat for me. But
yes.
But got to give her the benefit of the doubt, right? She was out of the WWE scope, TNAs, the AEWs, like New Japan, etc. All those other companies. It's just not the same sort of style as WWE. So I would imagine it's very difficult to get out the sort of haphazard way of doing wrestling out with WWE.
They have, like you say, they've got their style, they've got their way of doing things and stuff. So, but it's yeah. She's an attraction.
Yes,
probably the way to describe it. So there,
absolutely.
I'll give her that. But she's definitely got to go eat.
100%. Stop doing the splits.
But more of Rhea and Becky. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yeah,
every day of the week. Okay, moving on to the second match of the card. It was the 6-pack tag team ladder match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. Now, I will put something on. Last week, we were talking about who's going to win the tag team, and we forgot that there's a stipulation where you could win either or, right?
Yes.
So, and it was Paul. I think we've had Paul email it. Was it Paul that mentioned
and Alan?
Right. So, so a couple of people that
Big Mike Morrow.
Hawxy. There we go. They've messaged us and said, well, "Look, it's like they can actually win individual titles." So we forgot about that. So our bad. Also, I want to say both of us got the prediction right for Rhea and Becky. We both said that Rhea.
I forgot. We done all our predictions, didn't we?
Yeah. So I'm gonna tally them up.
You're gonna refer back to it. Oh, we're gonna have a score at the end.
We're gonna have a score. Yeah, boy. Right. So it was the teams involved were A-Town, Down Under, Austin Theory, and Grayson Waller. We had the Awesome Truth, the Miz and R-Truth. We had the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest. We had DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. And we had New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. What you want from a ladder match, right? It was...
I think we mentioned it last week when we were talking about this. I was a bit like, nah.
Yeah.
Like, what? Okay, like, yeah, this is going to happen, blah, 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 blah. I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
A lot more than I thought I would, and a lot more than I probably should have. But it was good fun. It done exactly what it needed to do, basically. And I think I did like the New Day were quite quiet in this. They didn't have much, but I loved their gear. And obviously, Xavier Woods very much looked like Consequences Creed, which was a very nice little cut. But obviously, the Philadelphia, it's the whole Rocky Creed thing, which was good fun. But it was there was some big old fucking high spots in there. There was some big shit. A-Town Down Under, I think their capture was a bit flat as well. I think they've got, of anybody who is in the company right now, who is sort of in featured positions, like on television in storylines, they've got the biggest like go away heat with the crowd, if you know what I mean, like because they captured it, and it wasn't really like a boo, it was like a you know what I mean, and it's like you don't want that, like you want somebody to be like yay or fuck you. It was just like, oh no, not these guys. Like it was legit, like proper horrible go away heat. Oh, it was good fun.
I think there's something
the fuckers.
I just think there's something missing from them. I can't put my finger. It's sort of like the Roman Reigns effect when they were trying to push him over as babyface. They're trying to push them.
It's too forced. It's too fake.
Forced. And
it's very manufactured.
I'm hoping that something like a, because we still think in Austin Theory's like he's got everything to be a superstar, right?
Superstar. Yep. You know, absolute superstar in the way in. Yep.
And Grayson Waller is definitely growing on me. I think that there's something there for Grayson. Will he be a top tier talent? No, but definitely middle of the road champ, like a US type champ. You know, that sort of level we're talking. Like easy mid carder, like safe hand. But it needs something. I think Austin Theory needs to turn babyface because he's got babyface written all over him, and Grayson Waller needs to be the heel. And there's got to be a turn somewhere along the line.
There will be.
There's got to be.
That said, they'll do what they need to do with them. But I stand by my sort of words that I said on the Future Stars thing. Austin Theory could be a Cena level talent for me, and he needs to go away for a bit, learn a new hold, come back with a different look, different presentation, different attitude, and get his head into it. Stop listening to what they're telling him to do and figure it out for himself. And that's where the issues are coming from. All the scripted promos and all the, you need to go out and do this and act like this. Like, we see through it now. And it'll become more and more apparent when you start talking about the top guys, like the people who it is so different now, as like not an aside, but like an overall thing. It is so apparent the people who were doing it the WWE way, and the people who are now doing it the professional wrestling way. There is a massive, massive divide. There's a huge divide, and you can see it, you can hear it, and just the way people talk, the way they act, what they say, what they do, whatever. There's a difference of like the cans and can'ts, if you know what I mean, or whether they can or whether they're allowed to. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I think if there's ever a time to make yourself a star in the WWE for the last, since probably 2008, this is the time to do it. And I think they need to get out their own way, sort themselves out.
I think the splitting of the titles allows that a little bit as well in terms of making stars, especially in the tag team division, because I think
there's more to go at.
Yeah, so it's not just that. The SmackDown titles, I think, are going to be the sort of the B tier. Like, can you put these titles over as a tag team, right? So A-Town Down Under, Austin Theory and Grayson, run with that, the division, and I can see them having really great matches with like a New Catch Republic on SmackDown, you know, and potentially
Austin Theory's going to have a great match with anybody.
Yeah.
So
my prediction of New Catch Republic still winning the titles by the end of this year
still
could
there.
Happen. It could
it's
happen,
still
man.
There, mate.
Like legitimately.
Yeah. And I'd love to see it.
I would love to see it, but I do agree with you. Looking at it, like, they are very small in comparison to the rest of them, right? But I thought that about a lot of the different stars. I mean, Johnny Gargano, like, just fucking, I don't get it.
What, like, horrific materials or photographs or video footage does Johnny Gargano have over Triple H? How is he there? How is he there? Because he's a Paul Levesque guy. We can start using that now. We can start using it. He's a Paul Levesque guy. What does that guy do? He's 5'4". He can do moves fine.
Yeah.
We can all get taught how to do the moves. He's got no charisma. He's got no charm. He's got no personality. He's vanilla. Like, what? What does he do? What does he do, John? Help me. It's not rhetorical. Help.
I can't. Help. Send help. I honestly don't fucking know. It's
ridiculous. He's got Polaroids in a brown envelope with and some burner copies with an undisclosed location. Shit. Like, genuinely, like, he must be. It must be, because I don't understand how he's still there.
You know who I feel sorry for? Ciampa, because I fucking love Tommaso Ciampa. See when he's NXT run when he had Goldie, it's like
he's amazing.
He's incredible.
How he still is still walking is beyond me, because he's got to be getting on now, and he's had a lot of injuries. He's only 38. I thought he was older than that. I thought he was in his 40s, but he's only 38 apparently.
But he's had a couple of bad injuries, neck injuries, right? So he's not going to be the one that wrestles into his 50s and stuff. He'll retire early, hopefully, like, of his own decision. But I feel really sorry for him I just don't get Johnny Gargano. If anybody listening here, what is it about Johnny Gargano that we're missing? Just don't get it. Just don't get it at all. But we have missed one important thing. We said the A-Town Down Under got the SmackDown titles. The brand new Raw Tag Team Champions. We talk about reaction of fucking hell, A-Town Down Under won the SmackDown. But the pop that the Miz...
couldn't have been any more opposite, could it?
It's different ends of spectrum. The Awesome Truth, Miz and R-Truth are now the Raw Tag Team Champions. R-Truth, very much like how Chelsea Green was in the Rumble, R-Truth was incredible in this match.
He was asking for the tag.
And he got it.
I was crying. Yeah, Miz tagged him when he come. It's just like, oh, the only way he's going to do something is if I do tag him. He's not going to get it, so I might as well tag him. Like, that's what I said the other week about Tooth. Like, the stuff that he's doing at the minute it's the right amount of funny. Yeah. Like, you can go too much. He's knocked the mic. He's the right amount of it, and people are buying into it. They were my prediction, right? Were they my prediction?
They were both of our predictions, so we only predicted one. So we're both going to get a point for
that. We'll both get a point for that. Yeah. And I think I did say that it's going to be some bullshit that Austin Theory and Grayson Waller will probably end up winning it as well. So maybe I get half a point for that, because I did slightly predict that, maybe.
There are no half points this evening. So
boo! He's a heel, motherfucker.
Fucking right. Yeah. Dante's a heel, but Hawxy's a babyface. Okay, so yeah, a really solid match. It was. It's what I wanted from a ladder match. It was crazy, but not too crazy in terms of like people like getting carried out and stuff. That's what we wanted, and it was a nice way to sort of keep the crowd up a little bit from the women's match, and then it went on to the third match, which was Rey Mysterio and actually Andrade. Last week we said it was Dragon Lee, so that was my bad.
It got changed up.
It did, yeah.
Last minute.
So Rey and Andrade with Carlito, Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde, and Zelina Vega. Obviously, Zelina Vega with Andrade from their NXT days. And they were up against Santos Escobar and Dirty Dom with, again, good match, right? What I thought was really good about this entire card, there was something for everybody. Every facet of wrestling that you want was covered in this card. We had women's match. We had like the Spot Fest match in terms of the ladder match. We had a lucha style match. We had proper pro wrestling matches. We had storyline driven matches. It was everything I wanted, and this match was no exception, right? It was the lucha style. Andrade looked incredible.
Yep.
Obviously, Rey and Andrade picks up the win. But yeah, I thought it was a great match.
I haven't seen a massive amount of Santos Escobar. I've seen him, like, he's been in tags in some of the matches with like the LWO stuff back in the day. Like I said, for the last couple of years, I haven't really watched a massive amount of WWE stuff because I've been turned off it. I really, really like Santos Escobar.
Yeah.
I really, really, really like him. He looks badass. He's very believable. He can work that different style as well, like that lucha style, but he looks he looks credible. Like he looks like a credible, like working heel. I really like this match. I really, really, really like this match. We said last week. I said last week, oh, this will be on the kickoff show or whatever. Like,
yeah.
It was way better than that. Really, really decent. Yeah, it's like what 10 minutes. 11 minutes. Decent. Really, really decent match. It's not going to change the business or change the industry or whatever, but for to sum up all it needed to sum up and to do what it needed to do, it was really good fun.
For an 11-minute tag team match, it kept everybody invested.
Yeah.
There was a storyline to back it up, which that's what we want as wrestling fans, right? We want our wrestling matches to be driven by storyline, something we can invest in. And there's been everything, the LWO type thing. It was also the thing, is Carlito going to turn because he picked Andrade instead of Carlito? It's all really clever booking, right? It's really, really clever, and it gives you loads of different avenues to go down. So yeah, really great match. You take the lead because you said it was going to be Ray, and I mean, I could technically say it's not Dragon Lee, but you get the point for that, Hawxy. I thought it was going to be the other way about. I thought there was going to be a turn from Carlito, but I was wrong.
They all got their stuff in as well. They had the little breakdown, and Zelina got a shot on
Elektra
Lopez. Yeah. How good does Zelina look, by the way? Jesus, she's got loads of star power. She just struggles with that height and that frame, but there's a couple. I mean, Liv Morgan and fucking Alexa Bliss are probably the same height and stuff as her. So, but yeah, she's a star.
I think what's good is they don't push Zelina as like the dominant champ, though, right? Like, she got her break, as I say, in NXT with Andrade, right, in terms of WWE TV, so it works there. Like, the chemistry those two have got are fucking phenomenal. It's so good.
I saw some footage when he came back, and they were in the ring, and she like jumped on him, gave him like a massive hug, and that looked like real, like it looked like genuine. Yeah. You just said like, we want storylines for our matches and stuff. Every single package, we talk about how good the WWE now are with their packages and their pre-records and stuff. Every single package for every single match got me fucking jacked up, proper hyped up for the matches. It was really, really, really good. I enjoyed it. Solid match.
Absolutely.
Solid match.
So good. Sorry.
Oh, Tucker, bless him. He just needs some love, motherfucker. Goddamn. Shit.
Like, I legitimately don't know what's wrong with my dog. He's been barking all day. He's just being a wee dick. Okay, so that's March 3 down. On to number 4. Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. This, for me, was the weakest match of the entire weekend. Match, as I said, storyline-wise, it made sense. It's something they've wanted to do for ages that is well documented, but the storyline, it had to reach that crescendo, which was really, really good. The package was phenomenal. As you said before, all the packages were great, but the package for this match was so good because it's real life. You know, it's a personal thing, and that's what sort of pulls at the heartstrings a little bit. But yeah, for me, it was really disappointing. You can tell why they're a good tag team, but not great singles wrestlers.
I mean, I think Jey is a better wrestler than Jimmy. It's Jimmy, isn't it? Jimmy and Jey. Sorry, off the bat. Just a quick one for the listeners or viewers. I've really hurt my back. I'm struggling, so I'm trying to keep myself propped up and comfy in this chair. So I'm probably a bit fucking lost with it as well. This was dreadful. I was ready to like enjoy this. Like you say, the story. Once again, the fucking video package beforehand. It was like cinema. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm ready. This is going to be wicked. It was awful.
Just really sloppy.
No, they are quite sloppy anyway. Even as a tag team, and they have been. They look really awkward to wrestle. They look really awkward to work with when I've seen them. When I watch them, I've never been a fan of the Usos ever, anyway. But
no,
I think Jay's Yeet, isn't he? Jay's main event, right? Yeah. He's the better out of the two. He's in a lot better shape as well. You can sort of tell the guy who they know they're going to push, who they've told they're going to push, because he looks about 3 stone lighter.
He's and a little Shawn bit Michaels more, as opposed to the Giannetti,
a little bit more cut as well. So, but it was just, there was no selling. There was more super kicks in this than a Bucks match, which was just, I find it highly hilarious that was the case. Dog shit. We spoke about, because we watched night 2 together, didn't we? So we watched night 2 together, but we watched this one separately. And like, I messaged you saying like, this is just shit.
Dreadful.
It's an awful match. And like I said, I was ready for an epic match, like a back and forth. I want to prove I'm the best. Instead, we just got a
super
really
kick, fucking super kick, fucking super kick.
For me, it was like a weak indie match. With 2 guys who like got gassed up within like the first 2 minutes, and they were just like, "Oh, I'm just going to hit you once, and then you can hit me once, and we'll wait a little bit, and then I'll hit you once again, and you can hit me once again." I didn't like it. I was so ready to. Yeah. I thought this might have been like after the build up and what they're fighting for. I thought this might have been one of the little sort of, you know what I mean, surprises. Yeah, that the little sleeper matches, but nah, not for me. Sorry, guys, but massive thumbs down.
Massive thumbs down for me as well. Yeah. Not great. That was 11 minutes and 5 seconds. So that was the same amount of time as the Rey Mysterio Andrade tag team match.
It felt longer than that.
And it felt much longer
Fucking
than that.
Hell, I thought you would have said like 20 minutes.
No, 11 minutes, 5 seconds. Yeah. It's crazy. And it's really weird because obviously we're sort of been exposed to tag team wrestling in terms of, oh my God, this is a drag, this is a filler match. And it was chalk and cheese, like, you know, from the tag team to this match. And it's a shame because the storyline warranted something a bit better and it just never came to fruition, unfortunately.
Yeah. You can kind of see what they were trying to do. They were trying to do like the Lesnar thing, like just like it was like heavyweight boxing, isn't it? Everyone's just looking for that big punch, like their one punch sort of thing, but it didn't translate to their stuff and what they were doing. Yeah, sorry.
Shite.
Shite. Absolutely shite.
We both predicted it was going to be Jay that went over, which was always going to happen, right? That ended that particular chapter of the story. Next up was a 6-woman tag team match. It was Damage Control Dakota Kai versus Asuka versus Kairi Sane versus Bianca Belair versus Naomi and Jade Cargill, making her.
What a fucking spectacle. It looked like the match can't have gone 5 minutes.
8 minutes.
8 minutes. 5 minutes. Yeah, whatever. 8 minutes, yeah. When they came down on that platform,
so good,
giving it the poses and all that. I said to you the other day that they looked like it was like a character selection screen on like a fucking like Tekken or like Mortal Kombat or something. They looked incredible. Oh, dude, so good. And just like you could see what they were, these 3 strong, like black, powerful women who were like coming to they meant business. They looked badass. They were coming to fucking sort the shit out. It was so good. And Kai and Asuka and Kairi, they were bumping around for him, selling for him, doing what they needed to do. It was really good. It was
Still
really
got
good.
their shit in, but it's just
Dakota Kai was a standout in this for me. Her selling and she almost looked like she was the one who, her and Bianca really were like pulling the strings in the match. And Dakota Kai, she really, really stood out in this match as just being like a really conniving, like shit stirring heel. It was really good.
She's a
heel, motherfucker. But Cargill looked amazing. Bianca looked amazing, and even Naomi sort of done what she needed to do. Really, yeah. They sort of kept her out of the way. Which is
you stand over there, just over there.
Yeah. Don't accentuate the positives and hide the negatives, right?
Yep.
But I enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this match. It done exactly what it needed to do. They looked amazing. It was more sizzle than steak, which is fine for WrestleMania and fine for the guys who were in this. What say you? What say you, Shieldz?
She did the pin.
She did the pin.
Yeah,
Daddy.
To be fair, I think with who Jade, Bianca, and Naomi were going against, I think it was always going to be a safe bet that it was going to be a cracking match. Really, it's incredible how far wrestling has come, and like women's wrestling, because at WrestleManias 10, 15, 20 years ago, this would have been the bathroom break, but you didn't want to miss this match.
No.
That's the difference.
No.
You know, you've got legitimate superstars in there with like a Jade and a Bianca, and you've got, and Damage Control as well. Damage Control are stars, man.
Yeah,
they're so good. Like,
Asuka's one of the most fucking like decorated women's like
ever
champions in the whole of WWE, and Kairi Sane's badass, and like that switch from Dakota Kai. I'm sorry to bang on about Dakota Kai again. Going from like kind of bit partish in NXT to getting an opportunity to sort of show what she can do, and then big time, the step up that she's made and just everything. It's so good. There was a bit like on night 2 where she was like walking with Io Sky, and she didn't have any makeup on, and she was just like looked all miserable and pissed off because she lost the night before. Like, whether she got told to do that or not, I don't know. But all the other guys were in like full makeup and like looking good. Like, she looked like she was just depressed and sad and angry about it. And just as like a little thing, I just love stuff like that. Sorry, but yeah,
no.
Kai, big thumbs up
Kai,
for me.
She was really impressive. I'm a huge Kairi Sane mark, though. I think she's fucking phenomenal. It's like, I'm trying to think.
Come a long way from the fucking pirate, right?
Yeah. You know who she reminds me of? It's like, it's one of the Kill Bill characters that looks all sweet and nice, but she's fucking crazy.
Not Oren Ishii, the one with the ball on chain.
Yeah. That her.
Shit.
It's like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? She's got that sort of. She's just got that down. Asuka's an absolute star, and but Jade looked $1 million.
Go Yubari.
Thank you. That's the one.
Yeah.
But yeah, really solid match. 8 minutes. Didn't seem like 8 minutes. It was really quick. It seemed like, but she did the pin. I don't give a fuck. They win.
Pin. Pin.
She knows.
If you guys listening don't know what we're talking about, just watch the match from that she had the other week. Her pin. Yeah.
I cannot wait for Jade versus Bianca. That's going to be a cracking match.
Yeah.
Because it's coming, right? It's coming.
It'll have to. Yeah. I'll be as well. What?
Next?
Moving on. Yeah.
Next up,
we'll move on to Rocky 4.
Yep, number 6, Sami Zayn versus the Ring General Gunther for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Gunther, the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. Sami Zayn, video package was fucking immense again.
I was welling up. It got me all fucking, oh my God, this is amazing. Yeah.
Pulls your heartstrings, right?
Yeah.
Sami was the ultimate underdog. That's what got Sami on over at the very beginning, though, right? He was in NXT. Yeah. He was the heart of NXT. He was the underdog for everything he done. Even when he was El Generico, it's like a case of that's the sort of gimmick he's always played, and he plays it so well. He still needs a wash, cut his hair, but Sami Zayn went over Gunther. I genuinely didn't see it happening. That, for me, that was probably the biggest shock of the night.
I think if there's anybody who can do it, because Sammy's he's been in top spots. Like, he's had titles before. He's a credible. If you look at the people who Gunther's wrestled before, you know what I mean. He's probably the most credible person there to be able to have the opportunity to take that belt from him. And the way they built it was just chef's kiss. Like the Chad Gable thing, that I'm scared. Like I'm scared. Like I'm scared to fail in front of my kid and my wife and my friend, like the fans and the family and all that sort of stuff. It's like you need to sort yourself out. And then the pre-show bit, the pre-match bit, when he's talking to his kid and his missus,
cinema.
And then Chad Cable's like, you know what I mean? Like he's like, yeah, come on. And he's like, no. Like, you never needed me anyway. Like, you go and do this by yourself. And then when he walks around that corner and sees Kevin, dude, I was like, yes! I was like, come on, let's go. And he
we've mentioned it before, right? The camera work that they're doing just now is fucking impeccable, right? It's like the long follow through the corridors and stuff, just the rotation round behind Sammy so you can see Kevin Owens. It's like...
following up the ramp and his boot and shit, getting himself in the zone, good. Ready to go, and
fucking Kevin Owens almost gave him a concussion. He fucking rattled on the
shit out of him. No wonder he was kicking shit on the way up the ramp. It's fucking mad.
I mean, the only thing I really didn't like was the sort of Sammy hulking up a little bit at the end. It just that was on the borderline hokey.
It was yes, it was hokey for me. It was a bit campy and a bit hokey for me. He could have done it in a different way. Him sort of slapping about and wet fishing it in the middle of the ring was a bit too much. That was what I was going to go on to say, definitely. I just loved the way they played it, because it's like Gunther sort of overconfident, getting a bit too big for his boots, and like underestimating this guy and not realizing what he is actually fighting for. Mm-hmm. It was what a story! Like so it's a story as Taylor's old as time. You know what I mean? Like it's true, but it works, doesn't it? It works, and the fucking place blew when he hit that Helluva kick and went into the finishing thing. So good. Everybody knew it was coming. They were primed. They were ready to go. They'd done a great job in getting them there. Gunther giving his missus shit in the crowd, and his missus was like, because he hit him with a finish, didn't he? And he didn't pin him, he didn't. And she was like, "You've done it now. Like you done fucked up, boy. You know what I mean? Like up. It was just like, it was so. She was in on it. She was just as good as Empire.
Yeah.
Usually the family get a bit weird and they'll have a laugh when they get a bit odd about it. They don't necessarily know what to do, but she fucking played it to perfection. It was class. So good. Really good. Really good.
15 and a half minutes. I want to mention three things. I think it was really fitting that Gunther's title reign was 666 days. It was like Sami Zayn overcoming the devil. I think that was fucking incredible.
Brilliant.
The second one I want to point out is hopefully this is the push for Gunther to get to like the world heavyweight title position.
Has to be.
Because if any
Gunther and Cody's written, the next chapter's written for them, isn't it? Once they get some bits and bobs out the way, Gunther and Cody they've been the last two in the fucking Rumbles the last 2 years on the trot. Like they're bred. Their chemistry is amazing. It's primed, right? It's ready to go. Surely to God.
So good.
Has to be, right? Has to be.
There's so much strength and depth. And the final thing I want to do, and there was a spot in this match that I want to do a comparison to. Okay, and it was the Brainbuster in the corner. Sami Zayn delivering the Brainbuster to Gunther in the corner. And comparing it to the Will Ospreay Takeshita one. The Sami Zayn to Gunther, Gunther's a big boy, right?
Glad. Yep.
And it looked great, and Sami took absolute care of Gunther. There was no risk to him, but it made me go, holy fuck, holy shit. And then
he looked like he killed him.
Yeah, he looked like he killed him,
he took
but it
him
was
up.
safe as houses, right?
Yeah.
But then you compare it to the spot that I'm talking about, Will Ospreay Takeshita. And sloppy, dangerous, unnecessary on just standard TV, right?
Yes.
It's like this is what we talk about, the comparison between WWE and AEW, right? It's about well, you know this as a wrestler. It's all about keeping your opponent safe, right? And you as a wrestler, would you feel safe in AEW taking one of those moves?
Nope.
Probably not. But in WWE, you would only be allowed to do it by the producer with someone that is confident enough to do it. And Sammy has been a vet in the business for a long, long time. Gunther obviously felt comfortable doing it. I just think it's really important to point out that we did before talk about that particular spot for Ospreay and Takeshita, but I wanted to bring it up. This is that same spot was in WrestleMania, massive audience, but it was chalk and cheese in terms of how it was delivered. And I just wanted to bring that up. So, sorry.
Don't say sorry for that. Not at all. Yeah, I genuinely think I probably need to go and watch this match back again to like appreciate it all, like the actual, like the nuances, if you know what I mean. Like the overall story and how it made me feel was fucking 5-star. You know what I mean? Like it's such a great, just the whole presentation from the second he came on the screen with his missus and his kid, to the Chad thing, the camera work, to Owens, to coming through, to the story of the match. It was as close. Like I said, the hokey thing really shit on it. For me, I would have said this was like a perfect match, if you know what I mean, if it weren't for that. Like it was as close as you can get to having like all the planets and the moons align, really. The payoff was good. The crowd reaction was good. They were ready for it. They were ready to go. And like you say, it just lets Gunther now. I called him Walter. Jesus, it lets Gunther now move on and go on from that. This would have been Brock and Gunther, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
would have had 100%. To be.
And I don't know if it would be as annoying, good, but I don't know if it would have been as good.
It would have been good in a different way. It would have been different, very different. I think a Gunther Brock Lesnar match on any WrestleMania card is going to be a one to watch.
It's going to be a spectacle, right?
But they made chicken salad out of chicken shit, and it was fucking phenomenal. Yeah,
so good
job, great job, well done. High five. High
proper
fives all
pro
around,
wrestling
guys.
Match, right?
Proper
pro wrestling match.
Proper professional wrestling presentation. Yeah. As close as you can get to a professional wrestling presentation on a WWE show. Yeah, definitely. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But yeah.
And that went on to 15 and a half minutes, that match. And
is that how long it was?
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, well, obviously that would have been bell to bell, wouldn't it? So they would have had a bit more. But yeah, cool.
Okay, moving on to the final match of that particular card. It was the Bloodline, The Rock and Roman Reigns, accompanied by the wise man Paul Heyman, up against the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins in a tag team match with a stipulation. If Rock and Reigns won, the match between Cody and Roman Reigns on night 2 would be held under Bloodline rules match, but if it was the vice versa, all Bloodline members would have been barred from ringside during the match. Thoughts, Mr. Hawks?
It wasn't late. I didn't watch it live, so it wasn't like fucking 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever by the time I watched it. It was probably about 11 o'clock by the time I got this on. I wasn't tired. I was jacked up because the rest of the show was really good. But this, I didn't fall asleep, but I nodded off a couple of times during this match.
So long.
It's probably the best part of an hour.
44 minutes.
With entrances and the schmars and all the shit. It's 55 minutes, isn't it? Easy. I can see what they were trying to do. I can see they wanted to make it nice and big and loads of sizzle, loads of steak. Put Cody and obviously Rollins through the ringer for their matches the next night, regardless of the result. Like I get it, going to the outside, working through the crowd, like going through tables, doing high spots and working legs and backs and all that sort of stuff. Like I get what they were doing, but I should have been sat on the edge of my seat for the whole of this thing, and I just wasn't. And that's kind of people will listen to this. People will listen to this and they'll be like that's one of the biggest main events in the history of WrestleMania, and like on paper, yeah. And the build, yeah, but in the outcome and in practice, not so much. Really, really not so much.
15 minutes too long for me. If they had reduced that down to like a 30-minute match, it would have been perfect. There was a period in the match where nothing happened. It was The Rock looking surly and just randomly dropping F-bombs, and it was like, all right, okay, I get it. You're a heel, right? You're the final boss, and you know the interaction between The Rock and Cody's mum was really good, and you know stuff like that. It's just I don't know, just don't know. Strong match though. I mean, it had to happen. Obviously, the Bloodline went over. They beating Cody Rhodes, Seth freaking Rollins, etc. Which means it was Bloodline rules in night 2. You called it, Hawxy. But it was still a good match. Don't get me wrong. But I agree with you. I felt tired by the end of it, and it
was a slog. It was a slog. Yeah. It was hard work to get through it and to sort of enjoy it. Because, like you say, there was bits where it was up, okay, and then it just went really down and didn't do anything for a while. So the bits where nothing was happening, it was a bit like I was finding myself like, oh god, something's happening. Like I said, it was just it was a hard watch, really was. I feel kind of bad. I might have to go back and watch it and give it another chance.
I think I might need to. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and watch it. I think it's
fucking fair. 45 minutes for a match is a long time.
I'm getting confused now. Was this the point where did Rock not shout to the referee, "You count, you're fired," or was that in the second match?
I was just about to say that. So he was like, "Get yourself back in here or don't count. Don't you dare count if you fucking count." Like, because it was when it gave them an excuse. So this is what I liked about this. We'll take as an example, AW. They'll just go and fight outside, and the refs don't count the 10. They'll fight through the crowd, or they'll fight outside like the ring, and the refs don't do a 10 count. Like, it's the rules, unless it's like obviously no DQ or falls count anywhere. That's fine, but when they do having normal matches, they do it in normal matches, and it's like you need to count, ref. But The Rock was like, if you count, you're fired. I'm your fucking boss. So it gave the man out to go and do what they needed to do around in the crowd and around the ring and that sort of stuff. And I liked that part of it.
Yeah.
Because it was a reason why. It doesn't bury the ref. It makes The Rock even more of a heel than what he was like presenting himself to be. That was good. That was a good little thing. And I loved the way they sold Cody and Rollins sold after the bell, because they were selling as if to say like, I've just give everything here and I've lost. And Rollins was like, fuck, I've got a match tomorrow night. Like I've just done all this stuff for Cody, and like I'm fucked. My back's hurting, my legs hurting. I've been battered every which way all over the stadium, and it's like he was like, oh my god, I've got to do this again tomorrow, and it was very, very good storytelling.
You know who I'm going to give a shout out to? Michael Cole. I thought Michael Cole throughout the entire WrestleMania weekend was really good, and it's such a massive difference that he doesn't have Vince in his ear. The point at the end of the match where obviously The Rock and Roman are celebrating up the ramp, it was like, and Cody is screwed. It's like, it was just a simple line that he said, and I thought it was like, that's really good, that's really cool, showing the severity of
Jeopardy.
Yeah, you know, it's the severity of this result for Cody Rhodes, and it lays that sort of seed of doubt. Oh man, is Cody going to be able to do this? You know, it was a solid match. It did what it had to do, right, to set up night 2. Do you think it went too slow because The Rock, it's like he's been out the ring for a long time. He couldn't go as quick as he could before, gassed up?
It would. We've had this discussion before about like, oh well, what are the plans? Was it going to be The Rock wanting to have the match against Roman properly, or was this like an audible, or was this planned, or all this sort of stuff? The Rock at 50, whatever he is, there is no way he could have had a long singles match with a heavyweight.
No.
It's not. The amount of fucking surgeries and injuries and everything that he would have come out of this match with, if you had a one-on-one match with somebody, would have just been obscene, because he'd be fucked. I mean, the match he had. How long ago was it? The match he had with Cena? 10 years.
I think it's 10 years. It's a decade. Yep.
Like he was fucked then, Like he broke his abdominal muscle or whatever, and his fucking quad went, and all this mad shit. Like that was then. He's 5 times the size. It's like The Rock had ate The Rock now. You know what I mean? Like he's that juiced up on stuff. There is no way he would have come out of the match, a singles match, unscathed. So they had to do it made sense for them to do the tag match. And I agree what you're saying. He sort of took his time, but it was a very I don't like to use this term all the time, but it was a very old school territory based wrestling match. Excuse me, what like the older guys would do. The old timers would milk the heat and milk that crowd and take you on that journey. So from that side of things, like I get what they were trying to do, but in the like the outcome of it, the you know what I mean, it just didn't for me. Like I said, I might need to go and watch it back, but for me, on first impressions, on the first watch, it drained me. It drained the soul out of me, and it just made me it was just tired me out. I was just, oh God, yeah, it was bad, weird,
really weird. Yep, absolutely. But that's night 1 complete for WrestleMania.
Just going to go back to what you said about Michael Cole there.
Yep.
I agree. That 3-man team, that 3-man booth, there was nobody else in the WWE on that commentary team. They couldn't have had a Booker or a JBL or anybody else, whoever. There was nobody who they could have put on that booth better than those 3 guys.
I would agree.
The chemistry they had, the way they all worked together. Pat McAfee, I mean, night 2, we laughed out loud.
So good. Probably
twice a match with some of his fucking zingers that he was laying out. Him and Cole bounce off each other, and like you say, Cole's not got old VK in his ear, like going mental at him, trying to tell him to say mad shit. He was calling it like an actual presentation. And Corey Graves adds, I'm not going to say legitimacy, but he adds another voice to it, like a voice of reason. He sort of verges on the heelish bit, but he's not it's not a proper out and out heel commentator. All 3 of those guys together, I want them on every single WWE presentation. I want those 3 guys on commentary every time now, because they were fucking great.
Phenomenal.
Really
absolutely
great.
Phenomenal.
Yep.
Okay. Solid show. What would you give night 1 out of 10, Hawxy?
I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
I was thinking an 8. The Jimmy and Jey Uso takes it down for me. Probably the Bloodline by about... I would say Jimmy and Jey takes it down by about 1.5. The Bloodline, the final match, probably takes it down by another 0.5 just because it was so long. But yeah, an 8 out of 10. Solid opening night for them.
Yep.
Okay. We're going to take a break between WrestleMania Night 1 and WrestleMania Night 2. And there's a little thing that's happened this week. We're big CM Punk fans. Yeah? Huge CM Punk fans.
No.
You may have noticed. Sorry, you may have seen me just dicking about with the PC there. The Dynamite ratings have came in. So I'm just trying to get the breakdown of them. Do you want to introduce this segment, Hawxy? And I'll try and find this.
So a lot's happened this week, and it was announced a few days ago that Dynamite this week, the footage from Brawl In. So we've had this discussion before. If you're not aware of what Brawl In is, it was the big AW event in at Wembley when CM Punk and Jack Perry had their little coming together. And there was footage, CCTV footage, backstage CCTV footage that has been available all the way through this, but it's never been released. It's never been reviewed, whatever. And following from CM Punk's interview that he did with Ariel Helwani the other week, Tony Khan's and the Elite, the Bucks, have took it upon themselves to want to release this footage. And rather than do it in like a normal, sensible, well, there isn't really a normal or sensible way of doing it. Rather than doing it in any way, they decided to fucking show it live on their television show on Dynamite this week. Oh, I can't wait to get involved in this, mate. I can't wait to get involved in this, but go on.
It's a really bizarre one. It's like, this is just again, I've talked a lot about fucking Tony Khan and his fucking monumental fuck ups when it comes to booking AEW. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. So they played it. They used the whole thing as an angle for the FTR match that's coming up. So obviously they're in the tag team championship tournament after Sting and Darby sort of vacated the titles after Sting's retirement. They've done the tournament, and it's going to be FTR versus the Young Bucks in the finals of this tournament at Dynasty. And they set it up there. So I'm going to give them a bit of, like, fair enough. You've tried to insert an existing angle onto this because obviously FTR are very close to CM Punk, is well documented. And then obviously they showed the footage. Yeah, they showed the CCTV footage, and for me, Punk was fairly accurate in what he said. No,
he summed it up
pretty well.
I think he summed it up perfectly, right? Why would if I'd done something wrong, if I'd done something naughty, and I was an honest person, like,
yep.
and I went out my way and said, this is what happened, this is how it came about, and this is the situation, this was the result, and this is all the leading up to it, blah, 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 blah. Okay. That's fine. If you were really, really sure that what I said was a lie, why would you show evidence to prove what I said was true? You know what I mean? Like if I said, I didn't, Kelly, I didn't take the last Easter egg from the cupboard in the kitchen. I promise you, I didn't eat it. I didn't do it. I went in there and I opened the cupboard, I looked at it, and I thought, you know what? Kelly's going to want that. I'm gonna leave that on there. I closed the cupboard and I walked out the kitchen. And the cream egg was the Easter egg was gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, "Oh, we've got a camera in there. We put the little baby cam up. Let's watch that footage." I'll be like, "No. Like I didn't do that. I didn't do that. Someone else must have had that Easter egg." Like, and then it shows you somebody else walking in the kitchen and taking the fucking Easter egg out, like knowing that she's seen it, and then trying to prove me wrong, knowing that they've seen that. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? I just don't understand why they've done it. It's so weird. It's weird.
For the amount of time it's taken as well. You know, it's like, you would understand it if they tried to use it a few weeks after they fired him, or he left, or he quit, or whatever. But it's like a year, man. It's like, what?
They've managed to get most of the stuff taken off the footage off the thing as well. So I found I screen recorded it on my phone earlier on just so I had it. So what happens is there's a couple of guys backstage. I'll try and sort of, for you guys who haven't seen it. So Samoa Joe's there, a couple of the refs are there, agents, Jerry Lynn, a few people are there, all backstage next to like gorilla position or whatever. Tony Khan sat next to him on the monitors and stuff. And Punk just walks up to him calmly. He's not hooting and hollering, because the guys around them are just carrying on with their normal business, just sort of chatting and doing what they need to do. And you can see them, they're speaking to each other. They're not like fucking bowing up to each other, like, what the fuck? And Punk's obviously saying to him what he was saying to him. Jack Perry's there with his hands on his hips, giving him a load of grief. And Jack Perry goes to get his hair out the way or whatever he's going to do, and Punk just pushes him and then front face locks him, that's what he said he did. He said, like, so, what is it? He said, Chael Sonnen says sometimes you just got to not let people get too close or whatever. And I choked him a little bit.
That's what he did.
And that's what he did. Like, he didn't throw a punch. He didn't run up to him and fucking double leg him. He didn't try and elbow him in the face. He did whatever. He didn't do any of that shit. He front face locked him. It got broke up. It took 5 seconds to break them up. Samoa Joe comes in, takes Perry out the way. Jerry Lynn pulls Punk out the way. Punk doesn't dive across the monitors as Tony Khan said he does. He's giving him some grief and telling him what's going on. All Tony Khan is doing is trying to reach out over the top of the monitors and be like, "Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!" And Tony Khan gets told a bit about himself, and he walks away from the push. From the push to so the push is 44 seconds. From the push to CM Punk walking away, it's to a minute. So it's 16 seconds long. The whole incident is 16 seconds long. That's it. There's not. I've seen worse fights in a fucking nursery. I've seen worse fights at a soft play lately than what I've just seen there. It's ridiculous.
Tony Khan fear for his life.
Fear for his life. He thought CM Punk had a gun in his hand. I can see the gun.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
It's so stupid. But yeah, I mean, I think what I want to talk about is this WWE Dynamite as well. WWE Dynamite, Freudian slip, because everything is all the major components of this show were WWE focused. You know, now I understand as well. It's an unwritten rule in wrestling, right? It's a case of it's WrestleMania weekend. It's the biggest weekend in wrestling, right? Put fucking shows on and you'll get a buzz because it's WrestleMania weekend. People are going to be really intrigued to see it. So I understand the concept of it, but there are three main things I want to be touched on. Obviously, the CM Punk thing, the Edge match. He was up at who was he up against?
Enter El Zero Miedo.
Thank you. Great match.
I haven't seen it yet. It's really
good match. Yeah, really good match.
Going to way to watch it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, whether you need to endure all the bullshit beforehand, I don't know. But
I mean, I do need to watch it. So
you know, because he's doing the Copeland sort of open thing. He's doing like one of those gimmicks. You know, it's never been done before in AEW. So yeah, Edge had a really solid match there. So fair play. The one I want to come to is Ospreay. Ospreay had a interview segment with Rennie Paquette, and he was doing the response to Triple H, what Triple H said on the Pat McAfee podcast about, you know, if you're not here for the grind because you want to work less days and, you know, do basically when you want to work, well, I don't want you here anyway. Which I think it was directed towards an Ospreay. Because it's well documented, there was discussions, but Ospreay's came out and said that, you know, he's working less days in AEW, he does what he wants, blah, 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 he's getting more money. And then obviously...
money to work less dates. That's the AWA, right?
Sound business plan. And then Ospreay goes, you know, the only way he got to the point he got was because he was grinding the boss's daughter. It's like, using that old one, it's just really, really shit fucking... Like, why does shit like that happen? Why does shit like that get the okay to go out on TV? It's to get that X number of fans in that stadium. It's to that niche audience. And, you know, you saw Rennie Paquette, she like sort of lowered her head and was like really uncomfortable at that point. Tony Schiavone, when it came back from the video with CM Punk, he had the moment on his face. I mean, it's a bums and seats moment type thing, Hawxy, I think, for this particular thing with CM Punk. It was just all over the place. It's just not cool. And I mean, to make things worse, the main event was Samoa Joe versus Dustin Rhodes. It's like a Samoan versus a Rhodes person for a championship. And they actually used, my dad was champion, I've never had that championship. It's like, fucking...
Did you see Rhodes had a red glove on and he done the thing as well?
It's like...
Today, officially, or last night, or this Dynamite, for me, is officially the day that AEW have jumped the shark.
You think?
Yes. Yep. They couldn't have fucked this up any more than they have done today. I think I messaged you this morning. I've been talking to a few of the guys this morning before I left for work. This is WCW 2000. 1,000,000%. I can't. I can't. I can't get my head around. Usually, obviously, we do a podcast. I am very vocal and very opinionated about all the fucking shit that goes on in AEW. I still can't understand how they thought this was a good idea. I can't think of any way they could have thought this would give them a positive outcome. This is just, it's like a spiteful ex, isn't it?
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Spiteful. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Like, well, I've got this on you, so I can show your mates this or what. It's weird. I don't get how they thought any of this whole thing was going to be a good idea. It's Tony Khan is a man child, mate. He's a man child. There's something wrong with him. He's
fucking mental. He's fucking mental. Yeah,
something going on there.
I mean, I understand it's a ratings ploy, right? That's what it's all about. They're trying to benefit from a buzz, right? So let's look at the race.
So is saying Maria May's going to get her tits out on this show, or Tony Storm's going to get her arse out. Like just because you think it's a good idea to do that, it doesn't mean that it is.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
You should.
So, as I say, they were looking to pop a rating. And as I say, it was WrestleMania weekend. It potentially made sense to do that. So, the previous week's episode got 752,000 views. This week's episode...
down.
So, that was last week's episode, right?
Yep. So that's down from usual, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
yeah, pretty much. Dynamite for April 10th. I don't have the quarter by quarter. It's not been released yet. 819,000. So, essentially, they got...
So that's even less.
70,000.
They usually hover around 830. So that's less than what they would normally get. So I know it's a bump from last week. So it's a 70,000 bump from last week. But they usually hover around 830 to 840,000, usually. I don't know if you can see that on your... By the way, big shout out to WrestleNomics.
Yes, absolutely.
On Twitter or their WrestleNomics page. What's their WrestleNomics website, dude?
It's just a Patreon. It's just Google WrestleNomics.
WrestleNomics.
You can...
Phenomenal site and a great bit of statistics. So I got the quarters. Yeah, so quarter one of 2023 to quarter one of 2024. This is average. So 907. 855, 885, 828, 810. So they're basically where they started off the year as an average, and they're less than what they were averaging last year. And they thought this was going to be the biggest story to break in wrestling history. No one cares, and there was footage of the. They were showing it on the big screen. Somebody on their phone. I saw this footage. Someone was recording the big screen in the arena, in the venue on their phone. And as it was happening, there was a CM Punk chant started.
Yeah.
And later on in the main event, the Bucks came in and there was a CM Punk chant in the main event as well.
So I've got the quarter by quarter. It's literally just been released. Okay, so there's 8 quarters here. So quarter
Hot off the press, guys. You don't get this any faster than anywhere else.
So there's going to be an overrun, obviously, in the first quarter and probably an overrun in the second quarter, I would imagine.
The big bangers. They'll get 1 million people there or thereabouts in the first quarter from the Big Bang.
Yeah, absolutely right. So the first one was 981. That was the first quarter.
981.
And that was Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, Ramp Angle, and it was Adam Copeland versus Penta El Zoro Miedo. Had a picture-in-picture ad. So that was 981 Hawxy. So we can probably get rid of that, right? Because they're doing the overrun. So let's get a true value. We're copying Jim Cornette and Brian last year, but it still works. Quarter hour 2, Adam Copeland versus Penta El Zero Miedo. Continued, dropped down to 857. So they lost
135,000 people or whatever it is. 125,000. There you go.
Next quarter, post-match with Brody King, Julia Hart, Willow Nightingale, Lionhook, Shibata backstage promo, an ad break. Mark Briscoe, Eddie Kingston, Copeland, Nightingale, Stokely Hathaway backstage angle, Young Bucks backstage promo, all in
15 minutes. In 15 minutes. All of that in 15 minutes.
Yep.
What was that?
That went up to 880.
Jesus.
So realistically, that bump got them 37 thousand views from quarter 2 to quarter 3, and that included the CM Punk promo, right? And then it's all downhill from there. Quarter hour 4 was an FTR live promo, an ad break, Bryan Danielson video, and a Will Ospreay ramp promo. That went down to 8.
With all that talent. With FTR and Ospreay. Yep.
But 50 minutes with
so this is top of the hour, right? This is
so
9 o'clock.
Yep. Julia Hart video, Lionhook versus Katsurio Shibata versus Shane Taylor Promotions.
This is going to have a 7 at the start, isn't it?
767.
Yep. Okay, now I could tell that just by looking at who's on the screen.
Top of the hour.
That's the top of the hour is Shibata and Hook. Against who?
Was it versus Shane Taylor Promotions? So that's Jericho, Hook, and Shibata versus Shane Taylor Promotions. 9:15 to 9:30. Dustin Rhodes backstage. Okada versus Cristiano Argento. Post match with Pac. I have no idea. Young Bucks, FTR, Bullet Club Gold backstage promo, an ad break. Tony Storm, Thunder Rosa, Deonna Purrazzo, ramp angle, down to 765.
God, I'm surprised they kept that there. Yep, go on.
9:30 to 9:45. Anna Jay versus Mariah May. Post match with Mina Sharakawa and Mercedes Moné backstage.
So Sharakawa and Maria May kissed each other. Apparently, I saw that.
I didn't see that.
See if we get a bump. Probably not. Let's see what's going on.
Also, Mercedes Moné, they're 10 million a year girl.
Yeah.
Down to 7.5.
Yeah.
And then, to be fair, I don't think they actually got an overrun because it's just quarter hour 8. So it's 9:45 to 10 p.m. So there's no overrun this week.
Yeah.
Down to 723. That was Samoa. That's main event. Samoa Joe versus Dustin Rhodes with post match with Swerve Strickland.
Sorry if that whistle was really loud, but it came out of me viscerally. So what we're going to do, we'll take away that 981. I'll do some maths, keep them chatting. I'll use my calculator.
So yeah, what was the over? So you do the average, and I'll do the actual amount. So went from, we'll do 981. Take away 98. Fucking use a calculator, you dick.
So basically,
258,000 viewers from top of the show to the end.
That's
over 20. Well, around
I was going to say it's about 20-odd%, isn't it? Yeah,
20-odd%. Say 25 if we round up the numbers. 25% of their audience they lost.
Divided by 7. So the real average, when you take away the big bangers, is 796,000.
So 700. Fucking hell.
So what was it? So it's gone from 819 to 796, basically. So they got 44,000 people on last week by showing the biggest story in the history of professional wrestling to Tony Khan. Because people might think, like, why are you taking away that first quarter? So on TNT or TBS, is it TNT? TNT is TNT. So on TNT, they have the Big Bang Theory on.
TBS.
So TBS. So reruns of the Big Bang Theory are more popular than live professional wrestling. So what they do is the Big Bang Theory finishes at 8:01 or 8:02. So the first quarter hour that you get for Dynamite is the numbers taken from the people who are watching the end of the Big Bang Theory. So you take that out, and that's where you start. So the 857,000 is more of a true representation of the people who are watching Dynamite. So you take that out of the way, and then usually they'll have an overrun as well. They'll go 6 minutes in, and people are turning it on to see whatever's on TBS after that as well. Probably an old film, Die Hard with a Vengeance or something. That'll probably get another pop to 1 million or something. So, but dude, this is. Have we got any information on the house? Do we know how many people were in the crowd?
Not that I can see. But what I want to do is talk about the P18 to 49. So the
prime, the advertising. 18 to 49 is the advertising. It's what all the advertisers want to know. Prime age for advertising dollars, basically 18 to 49. Yep.
So overall, it got. Let me get this here. If I can find. Fucking just give a second.
Dude, that drop off,
massive, right? So on average, it was a 0.3.
A 0.3. Jesus.
So that essentially, everybody that's listening, that's 400,000.
I was going to say that's about
400,000. So it was interesting because it started off at 433,000 for segment 1. Segment 2 went to 410. So it dropped off like 23,000. And then it got a boost up, which was the CM Punk section, to 449.
Would have been all the smart marks coming back to see what's going on. Yeah.
And then it went to 426, 384, 375, 372, 353, all thousands. So it finished off at a 0.27. That's the final segment for that key demographic.
Brutal.
Crazy. So it was a 7% drop off from the all-in video, quarter hour 3 to quarter hour 4. That's what it works out as.
Can I call a quick audible here? Can we get Raw? We got Raw on there. This should be on there because it's obviously Monday to Wednesday.
Yes.
I'd be very, very surprised to see. We weren't planning on doing the full stuff here, but we'll go into it anyway. Just amuse me on this. Right, okay, give me humor me, Shieldz. Humor me.
Give me the numbers, Mason.
What are the numbers, Mason? The numbers. I just find this stuff. I love this sort of stuff. If you're listening to this and you think like, why are they talking about this sort of stuff? It tells a lot of stories. It gives you a lot of information when you look at this sort of stuff. We are going to do a big numbers episode at some point soon. Yeah, so if you don't like it, you might not necessarily like that one, but anyway.
Right, so the Monday Night Raw. Okay, now this is where the difference is. So we talked about AEW starting high at 981,000, right?
Yep.
Raw quarter hour 1, so potentially with an overrun as well from the previous whatever it would be on the USA Network, started off at 2,677,000. Right.
Okay.
So it could be a big thing. Quarter hour 2. So quarter hour 1 was a Triple H live promo and then a Cody Rhodes video. Right. Quarter hour 2 was Cody Rhodes and The Rock live promo. That was 8:15 to 8:30. It went up to 2,000,009.
So they made more in one segment than the Dynamite lost overall from start to finish.
Yes. Yeah. So
in 15 in 15 minutes.
Quarter by quarter increased by 10%. Quarter hour 3, which was a continuation of Cody Rhodes and The Rock live promo count, it went up again to 3,194,000.
Wow.
And then it was the substantial drop off from there. So quarter hour 4
was Ilya Dragunov and Nakamura.
There was also an Awesome Truth Sami Zayn video, WrestleMania recap, and an ad break. It dropped down by 18% to 2,006,000.
Yep.
Then it went.
But it's still only 40,000 less than what it started anyway. You look overall. Yep.
There is a big drop off as it goes on. Then it goes down to Judgment Day, Awesome Truth live promo, angle, and an ad break. Went down to 2,616.
Yep.
Then it was Awesome Truth and John Cena versus Judgment Day. It went down to 2,339
with Cena.
Yep.
Jesus. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Again, wasn't advertised, right? Bronson Reed backstage promo, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan backstage angle, Indy Hartwell, Roxanne Perez. That was the match. Sami Zayn, Jey Uso backstage angle. Dropped down again to 2,165.
Yep.
So it's all pretty much downhill from here. Roxanne Perez, Natalia backstage angle, Sami Zayn, Imperium live promo, an angle with Chad Gable went down to 2,097,000.
Yep.
Then Chad Gable and Sami Zayn versus Imperium, WrestleMania recap, 1,989. Jesus, Raw's long. Jey Uso backstage
3 hours,
promo.
right?
Yes, Adam Pearce, Nick Aldis, Chelsea Green backstage, Green versus Jade Gargill.
Yeah.
Gable backstage angle 1982.
Yeah.
Then Drew McIntyre live promo, McIntyre versus Ricochet versus Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed 1840. And then Drew McIntyre versus Ricochet, that match, and then post match with CM Punk went up to 1872. On average, 2362.
2362.
Demographic is 0.83.
I was going to say it's going to be like a 0.7 or a 0.8, definitely.
0.83, that's 1,092,000.
So just under half. Because the thing is, they'd seen all they need to see, right?
Yep.
That initial segment. You can see why they do it. They want to start strong. Raw after Mania is always a bit strong and that sort of stuff. But the people had seen all they needed to see. That first half an hour, 45-minute segment was the money, right? And it's a long old. There's a lot of wrestling to take in over WrestleMania as well. They have the 2 nights, and they don't necessarily want to hang on. But as you say, I just wonder if they'd flip that round the other way, they would probably had a bit of a better average. If people were still waiting for the end to see The Rock and Cody, they probably got it out of the way because they wanted to get it all in. Because you know what The Rock's like, he goes long, so they would have ended up having a 20-minute overrun if they put him in at the end. But yeah, dude, But look at that, those numbers. That average 2.3 with a 0.83. The average 819, a 0.819 or whatever. Like, fuck me.
I think to say
taking 3 weeks to get as many people watching that, and 3.194 million has got to be one of the highest Raw rated segments for a while.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. Just they usually give a report, don't they? Give me a second. Talk amongst yourselves.
Dude, I can't believe that Cena segment went down, though. Because I thought people would have been like, Cena's on. You know what I mean? Like texting their mates or messaging their mates, or it would have went viral. Like, I mean, people on Twitter or whatever talking about it. But that's crazy. That's crazy. But there's a big old drop off. But percentage wise, what is that?
Pass.
You're probably looking at about it's probably about 20%, isn't it? 2.6 to 1.87, about 20%, give or take.
What I'm interested in, though, is the SmackDown, because SmackDown has actually been outperforming Raw recently.
It has, it's a higher average, especially over the last year, definitely, because that's where all the Bloodline stuff's been on, hasn't it?
Yeah,
so.
The Go Home episode for SmackDown averaged 2.6 million viewers.
Yeah,
at a 0.77. So it's going to be really interesting to see that when it comes out as well. So to say AEW are a legitimate threat to WWE, it's not even the same stratosphere, right?
Nowhere near.
Nowhere near. I mean, we're getting fucking a Wish Bloodline versus Rhodes angle, you know, in terms of Samoa Joe versus fucking Dustin Rhodes. We've got Adam Copeland, who is picking up a paycheck. He can still go in the ring, but he's got a title that no one gives a fuck about. We've got Will Ospreay making cheap digs because Tony Khan thinks it's funny about Triple H, one of the legitimate greats in wrestling, but also what he's done with WrestleMania. Just an absolute disrespect. And then we've got an angle that gave a boost in the rating to a guy that's no longer in that company.
Yeah. Did you see his Instagram picture?
What was it? Was it
George Bush on the Intrepid or whatever it is, was doing a thumbs up with a mission accomplished banner.
Mission accomplished at the back
behind his head. Fucking brilliant. A picture speaks 1,000 words.
It certainly does. Okay, we're going to move on. If you enjoyed us going through the WrestleNomics, as I say, check them out. It's really interesting information. If you're a big stat guy or you're a big wrestling fan, it's really good to see that, because you look on Twitter and stuff and you see people talking about, oh, well, you know, we did this particular rating, but it's all down to the numbers that we're talking about here. So it's really important. Me and Hawxy are definitely going to sit down and do some sort of comparison between AEW and WWE, and we'll see how it goes from there, because that's going to be a full episode in itself, Hawxy, right?
Yeah, or a good segment, segment. Yeah, definitely. It's I like the numbers. The numbers say a lot. People think, oh, yeah, we're having good matches on Dynamite and all that bullshit. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you think your indie wrestling on TV is good. Everybody else doesnn't agree.
Everybody doesn't think their shit smells, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so yeah, if you enjoy. If you want to hear us talk about more of the ratings, etc., well, great, because we're going to do it. But if not, let us know. WrestleMark10@gmail.com. You can also tweet us at Mark_out of 10. You can sub to us on YouTube, on TikTok, and on Instagram, all at Mark out of 10. I lost my train of thought there, sorry.
Mark_out of 10, all that, just
all
search Mark out
jazz.
of 10. You'll find it.
Make sure you've listened to all our back catalogue. It's on Spotify, on Apple, on YouTube as well, and all your favourite podcasting platforms. Make sure you 5-star it and share it with a friend, because it does help us out with the algorithm.
Algorithm,
as Hawxy said. Okay, let's go back to WrestleMania, the big event. It'd be interesting. So the night 2 was 72,755 people attending night 2. And my God, they would not be disappointed, Hawxy. Night 2 was fucking phenomenal, in my opinion. So good.
Yes, it was.
Where night 1 was good, night 2 was better, in my opinion. Top to bottom. Again, I mentioned it in night 1. There was something for everybody. And we'll go through it as time goes on. And again, number 1 match, Drew McIntyre versus Seth freaking Rollins. Good match.
Very
CM
good
Punk
match.
on commentary.
Yes.
Take away, Hawxy boy. Take it away.
Obviously, I was a bit down on this because I obviously wanted CM Punk and Rollins. And obviously, when he got the injury, it took the wind out my sails a little bit, for want of a better term. I was a bit fucking annoyed about the whole thing. But Drew has worked his way into a position where you either love what he's saying, or you actually, he's got like genuine heat. Like, I've got heat with him, like being in that position, because it's like I'm annoyed because Punk isn't there. But the way that they've done this, the way that they built this whole match, it was almost like a 3-way. Yeah. But like, Punk didn't have to do anything. Like, he just had to be there. But he worked his way actually to be a factor in the match without actually being in the match. And I can't think of another match like that. Can you? If the listeners of the show can think, if we can't think of one, if there's anything, I'll try and reiterate what I'm saying. Like, Punk was he wasn't competing in the match, but he was as big a factor as Rollins and Drew were in the whole thing. I can't think of another match where that's happened. To recall that straight away. There might be one. We'd have to have a look, but off the top of my head, I can't think of something like that. But Rollins was struggling with his back. You could tell. We were talking about this when we were watching it. When there was a few of the shots when he was doing the belly to belly overhead throws on the outside, and Rollins was like over rotating to land on his arse or his hip to try not to land on his back. But they had a really good match.
Really good.
It was what the Usos were trying to do, but they couldn't do it. They were throwing their big moves, and there was the curb stomps and the claymores and the double underhook DDTs and all that sort of stuff. There was all that. There might have been too many kickings out of the finishes for our liking, maybe, potentially. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but we spoke about this, didn't we?
Yeah.
But they built it to a very, very nice crescendo. It's all about the angle, right?
It's not about the match you have in that night. It's about how you take it forward from that match, right? And I think they've done that perfectly with CM Punk. Obviously, if you haven't seen it, Drew McIntyre beat Seth Rollins in 10 minutes for the World Heavyweight title. And, you think that's it. But Drew being Drew and the sort of the heel mode that he's in just now, had to rub it in CM Punk's face, right?
All he had to do was walk to the back. That's all he had to do.
All he had to do was leave. Can I just say, Drew McIntyre's wife or girlfriend, she's a beautiful lady.
He's doing well there, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's doing very well. High five to Drew McIntyre. Well done, mate.
Yeah, well played. Just down the road from me in Ayr. That's where Drew comes from. But yeah, really solid match. Like you say, Seth was definitely struggling. You could see that. It's interesting you said it's what the Usos should have done. I think the difference is the Usos don't have the same experience that that a Drew, even when he went away and let Drew hold, or Seth Rollins has. To direct a match, they don't have that, and that's why that fell flat in his face. But this match was really, really good. But realistically, Drew wins it, but that's not where the angle finishes, right? As I say, he confronts CM Punk. He's on the table, on the announce table where CM Punk's sitting. A lot of shooting being done, Mr. Hawx.
Shooting from the hip, cowboy. Definitely.
A lot of sort of inside comments being made from both people, and then
Punk was quite funny though, the way he was. He'd say like, "I can't hear." Because I've got cans on, like I can't hear a word you're saying. Like it was, it was good fun.
They're still shouting my name, even though you just won a title. I've never won a title where they're shouting another man's name. And then Drew stands up, turns away. CM Punk pulls the legs underneath, takes off the arm brace, knocks the fuck out of Drew McIntyre, and then Damian Priest comes out, cashes in. Senor Money in the Bank cashes in his suitcase. And Damian Priest defeats Drew McIntyre to become the world heavyweight champion.
Great angle.
Hawxy. Superb, right?
Yeah, it allows... I think we discussed this, and I don't know whether I think it, but I did call this. I did call the Money in the Bank cash in. I did call an angle. I did call a bit of a schmoz.
But importantly, you did say that Seth was going
to win. Yeah, I think it was the best thing they could have done. The complete perfect outcome to the whole of the thing, because it gets Seth away. He can go away and heal. Drew won and got his reaction in front of the crowd. Got his moment, his WrestleMania moment. They made a phenomenal angle afterwards with Punk foiling him. He didn't have to foil him in the match to win the title. He foiled him after, and then it gives Damian Priest the opportunity to do whatever they're going to try. Whatever they're going to try and do with him, which is which I think is going to be hard, if I'm honest with you. Because I don't think anyone's sold on him. He looks $1 million, but I don't think anyone's sold on him, to be fair. But it was good match, really good after match angle. They got out of it brilliantly.
I think Damian Priest is the perfect person, and I said this from the beginning. If Drew doesn't win the title, or if Drew gets cashed in on, it's a perfect place for him to go to Clash of Champions or Clash at the Castle in Scotland and win it in front of his home crowd.
Take the belt off.
I reckon that's where it will happen. Did you notice at the CM Punk at the end, he blew a kiss?
Did he?
Did you not see it?
No.
So when he knocked fuck out of Priest, when he knocked fuck out of McIntyre, he turned round to his girlfriend and went like that. I can't believe you missed that.
I was probably too busy marking out. I was too busy going, yes!
Yeah. It was little throwbacks to the sort of the moments that we talked about. Yeah. I can't believe you didn't see it. You need to look that up.
I need to go and watch it back just to see that bit. Yeah. Dude, I didn't see that. That's sick.
Yeah, it's just before he comes out and cashes in his Money in the Bank. But yeah, we can't really comment on the Priest defeating McIntyre. It was a great angle set up. The choke slam was fucking cool, right?
Yes, he got him right up there as well. Drew sold it like a beast as well. Fair play.
So good. But yeah, Drew McIntyre going over Seth freaking Rollins. A great match to start with. 10.5 minutes. Didn't seem like that. I think having Punk there. The only thing I was really disappointed with is they didn't really show a lot of CM Punk coming into the ring. You know, in terms of commentary, I think that would have got a bigger reaction. Like from
Do you reckon it would have got a big pop if they played his music?
Away. Yeah, exactly.
We forgot about Steph coming out as well, by the way. She was out earlier on, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. That was a big shock, actually, from night 2. Sorry, we're going to go back in time. I didn't expect her to return onto TV after, obviously, everything that's came out.
She knew.
But she said, yeah.
She knew what was going on. That's why she fucking sacked it off. Because him and her, Paul and Nick Khan didn't want him back on the board, did they?
Yeah, exactly.
They voted against it, so she knew.
Yeah,
she
absolutely.
knew what was going on. Yeah,
but she
potentially, allegedly, whatever.
Yeah, she looked $1 million though, right?
She looked class, looked good. She
Like
looked amazing at the Hall of Fame as well, though. By the way, with the ECW fucking
so good,
cap thing on it. Yeah, it was sick. Yeah, it was cool.
And obviously, she stole her husband's line. Are you ready for Philly? She's so good in the mic.
Ready for the Paul Levesque era
again? Pushed through, really pushing it hard,
shoving that down our throats as much as they could.
Yep. I mean, it's working though, right? I mean,
oh yeah, I'm here for it.
I'm all here.
I just hope he doesn't turn out to be a dickhead. That's all I'm asking for. Please, Paul, don't be that guy.
Just don't be that
guy. Yeah, please don't be a cunt.
But yeah, anyway, let's move on to...
We're relying on you.
We need you. You're the saviour. Moving on to the third match. Now, if we take this cash in as a second. So the third match would be The Pride, which is Bobby Lashley, Angelo Dawkins, and Montez Ford.
Oh, is that what they're called?
Yeah. And versus The Final Testament, which is Karrion Kross, Akam and Razor, the Authors of Pain, with Paul Ellering and Scarlett.
Sweet baby Jesus in the Orphans. How good did Scarlett Bordeaux look? I'm sorry. This is a male-dominated industry, guys. So we're just saying it as it is, calling it as it is, right down the middle. How good did she look? Oh, lordy.
She's everything you want from a Valley, right? You want that from. She's beautiful. She's got that. It's just my word.
How has he done that? He's a great salesman. Great salesman.
I didn't mention something to you during the match, though, right? In terms of Karrion Kross, he looks a lot like Mason Ryan, the Welsh wrestler, and you can't unsee it. No. If you don't know who Mason Ryan is, Google him. Mason Ryan WWE. And then Google Karrion Kross just now. Compare it. Enjoy. You'll never unsee it. It was a Philadelphia street fight. And the mayor of Dudleyville, Bubba Ray Dudley, was special guest referee. That was a nice pop for the Philly crowd. Obviously, Bubba Ray being a ECW alumni. Really good. I enjoyed this match for what it was.
We shit on this match, didn't we, last week?
Yep.
Like, big time. They couldn't have done it any other way than they did to get the reaction. It was great. The bit with Bubba Ray, like, telling them what to do. He's like, yeah. He's like, with the legs. Like, it was brilliant. Really good fun. Really good fun.
They were not fucking messing with the kendo sticks, though, right? They were lumping fuck out of each other.
Yes, they were. I forgot about that, actually. Jesus, yeah, they were. They broke a few, didn't they?
Yeah.
They broke, yeah.
It was just...
Fuck yes. Yeah.
I mean, the girls got involved.
It was good fun. Like, it was the right amount of sizzle. It wasn't too far. It wasn't too long. They got in. Everything was planned out. They'd done what they needed to do. There was no shit, no shenanigans. Just good, fun pro wrestling. We'll use that word a lot tonight, and we'll use it a little bit more soon. But that was another professional wrestling match. You said earlier on it had something for everybody.
Yep.
This show was the circus, but it was the ultimate circus. It had the clowns, it had the trapeze, it had the human cannonball, and it had the lion tamer. Like, it had all the stuff. It had everything. It was great. Really good.
Even the girls got involved, like B-Fab, Russian leg sweeping, Scarlett from the ringside through the table. It was also good. The only issue was the finish. Obviously, the table fuck up and stuff. Yeah.
But they'll show the second one, won't they? They'll always show the highlight. I don't think many people are going to go back and watch that match from start to finish.
Well,
this
Scarlett
is my favourite match. Oh, yeah, good shout.
Yeah,
good shout.
There you go. Yeah. The Pride, Bobby Lashley, Angelo Dawkins, and Montez Ford went over. They won it in 8.5 minutes. We both said they were going to win it. And interestingly enough, the Final Testament are actually back in NXT just now. They've went back down. They re-debuted on NXT, just taking out X, Y, and Z. So maybe that's what they need. Maybe they need just to become a dominant force, because they've had an absolute hiding from Bobby Lashley and stuff.
Yeah, bit more reps. I think Karrion's a missed opportunity. Did we speak about Karrion Kross last week or not? Have we spoken?
Yeah, potentially, but I think we can talk about
on Monday or whatever. But yeah, I think he should be wrestling a night on that show. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be him and AJ. It should be Karrion and LA. Like he's got the size, he's got the look, he can work. He's got the heat, he's got the valet, he's got a good presentation. The NXT presentation with like the black and white and her coming out and singing, and that was fucking cool. That was really good presentation. I just don't know what. There must be something. But I think he's really good. I rate him. Even when we watched the match, I know you said that you done the Mason Ryan thing, and it just I just went cross-eyed. I couldn't unsee it. But like even just the way he was working that match, like he's more than solid. Like he's good. Like I've seen him have like matches at like NXT shows and stuff, and he's a good worker. I just don't get it. I don't understand why he isn't. Maybe he's just a bit of confidence, or he gets in his own way, or overthinks whatever. There's loads of stories about people who should be there, but they just get in their own way with stuff. I don't know, but he has everything he needs.
I think he's there at the right time. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think he'll ever be the guy. He's going to be a guy, definitely.
Yeah, he's not going to be. He's not going to be Cody Rhodes level or anything.
But he could be a guy that could be seen as a legitimate threat to Cody Rhodes, because he can go. He's got that sinister sort of streak. He's, he could be really good foil. Yeah, he could be a really he could be a really good heel for someone in order to like elevate them even more, which will be really, really cool to see. I think he's still in WWE at the right time, because he was put over strong when he was in NXT. Yeah. When Regal and obviously Triple H were in the sort of background, like the feud he had with Samoa Joe was incredible. It was really, really good. And he went up, and Vince wanted to fucking, Vinceify him. So maybe this going back to...
Vinceify.
Hashtag Vinceify. So going back to NXT, where he's going to work with like Shawn Michaels, rebuild his confidence, go back up to the main event, because Triple H is high on him, right? Like Triple H really likes him.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see in the next 12 months or so, potentially 6 to 12 months, we'll hopefully see a big push for Karrion Kross in the main event.
Fingers crossed, because I rate him. The OG presentation, maybe needs to shave his head again. Yeah,
cut his hair.
But he's decent, man.
Just want to see Scarlet machine on my screen, man. Just Scarlet on, please. Yeah. Moving on before we get cancelled, we have LA Knight, versus the phenomenal AJ Styles. Again, a proper professional wrestling match, right?
Yeah, big time. Two
talented individuals. AJ Styles is huge. He is.
I am 99.9% sure he rattles when he walks now, with the amount of stuff that he's got rolling around in his body. Fucking ginormous. But he can still go. He's mad. He's getting on now. He's got to be 40 odd. Let's have a quick look. AJ Styles. He's 46 years old.
He's already said he can't do what he used to do, and he doesn't want to become a meme of himself. He's proper old school in that regard.
He's making a good fucking, like...
Yeah.
He's putting a case against, like, not affecting him in any way, shape, or form. He looks amazing, and he works amazing. The match was so good.
It was really, really good. And do you know what we talked about, and you talked about the false finishes and stuff in Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins match. This was complete opposite, because they didn't use any of the finishes until it was the finish. And that's the difference. We were talking about it when we were watching Night 2, and it's a case of, we were saying, what do you think about using the finish early and kicking out at 1? It's like, well... It negates the effect of the finish, right? It's like your finish should be a protected thing. It's like and we'll talk about that later, about a finish that we always expect no one to kick out of, getting kicked out of. Like, we've talked about it before in Tag Team 3D, you know? The 3D was a protected finish until such time as it meant something. You know, it's got to mean something, and LA Knight and AJ Styles are the testament to that, because it was a proper pro wrestling match until such time as LA Knight hit his finish and hit the 1-2-3. And that's what you want in wrestling. Unless you've got 2 or 3 viable finishes, don't use your finisher and get a kick out at 1 or 2. It's like, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense for me anyway.
No. Like you say, if you've got 2 or 3, then you can cheat on it. You know what I mean? You can sort of squeeze it in. But I think overall, if you've got that one finish, it's called a finish for a reason. It's the finish of the match, right? Protect it, use it sparingly, and the whole of this match was based around both of their finishes, wasn't it? Pretty much, it's either the phenomenal forearm or that Styles Clash, and then LA Knight's. What's he called? What's he called it? What's his finish called? Fuck's sake!
Who? LA Knights?
Yeah.
Was it not B? Oh, fuck's sake. One moment, caller.
It's a cool finish, though. It's like that sort of front...
BFT.
The BFT, like front sort of DDT kind of thing. It's cool, man. It's like a version of a cutter almost. It's really cool. Yeah. But they had such a good match, and they had a proper professional wrestling match again. Who would have thought in 2024 there would be professional wrestling matches on a WWE show, eh?
Professional wrestling, not just matches, and it was build up. It was everything. There was a point that you didn't like. You didn't like the press conference type fight. But if you take that out, if you take that,
they could have done it if they just hit each other. I would have been all right with it. It's just their punches were really sloppy and overly safe, and it took away from what they were trying to do. If you're going to go into a public place and have a snug, tight brawl, then make it snug and tight and go for it. Don't be slapping each other on the shoulders and stuff, because that just looks fucking stupid. Gave me the ick, big time.
Absolutely. Going back, this just came into my head just now, talking about protect your finish and stuff. There was actually an interview, I think it was a recent interview with Rhino, and Rhino has always maintained that no one has ever kicked out the goer. And the interviewer was like, but this, and he goes, no, that was a spear. It was never the goer. It was like, that's so good. It's so fucking funny. It's so true, though. Rhino's a fucking monster. Sorry, I digress.
No, it's Rhino's gore, isn't it? It's not someone else's spear. Yep.
Exactly. Sorry, I digress. LA Knight defeated AJ Styles. We predicted that was going to happen, right? That means AJ Styles, I don't think, hasn't won a match since, like, fucking forever. It's like 2023, sometime in 2023 or something.
It shows how much of a star he is, though.
Yeah.
If you can still be in featured spots on big shows and you haven't won a match in that long, it shows how good you are and how sort of like fans and people will see you. I didn't know that. That's a great stat, that is, to be fair, dude.
I'm trying to find the actual AJ Styles. I can't find it. Fuck it. Yeah, but it's been a while. He hasn't won in a long, long time. So, but you don't need to win, and you don't need to.
I had a 12-month losing streak, and the next match I had, I won the title. So it just goes to show: if you got heat, you got heat. Doesn't matter if you win or lose.
Absolutely.
It's not who goes over; it's who gets over, motherfucker.
I do feel sorry for LA Knight, because, you know, I think it's just, he's a victim of circumstance in terms of the storylines that are going on, because he is.
I think a victim of circumstance undersells that a little bit. That's
yeah. You know,
it's brutal, isn't it? We were talking about this when we were watching it, weren't we? We were thinking like he should be wrestling fucking Seth, really.
Yeah.
Like he should be in that pot.
It's
sad,
like
really.
The poor fucker. It's like he's in the main event with Roman Reigns. The Rock comes back, Cody in that event. I'll tell you what, let's go potentially put him up against Seth Rollins. Fucking CM Punk comes back.
And McIntyre makes himself a fucking nuiance as well.
Like a monster heel.
Yeah. You'd
poor
be
fucker.
Heartbroken.
But
there might be time, but he's getting on a bit. He's 40 odd, isn't he? Early 40s. So there is time. potentially, but I think they missed the boat with him, pulling the trigger on him. There was a period of time where they were ready to
ride in the wave,
ready to go for him, but yeah. But I love him. He's class. He's brilliant.
I think he'll get a run with it. I think he will get a run. It might not be a long run. It might be a Kofi Kingston-esque type run.
Yeah.
The merch he would sell, like he's already fucking one of the top sellers of merch.
Talking of merch,
check out Streamerwear.
Yeah. Talking of merch, Cody Rhodes sold $1 million worth of merchandise just over that weekend at WrestleMania, just at the WrestleMania show.
Yep.
That's
a lot of t-shirts.
That's mental. That's a mental amount of money in one sitting, in one weekend. I'd love to see his fucking payoff check for this first quarter. Jesus Christ. I want 1% of his payoff check for this quarter.
Yes, please.
I wouldn't have to work for fucking probably about 10 years. Mental. Sorry, anyway, that was just a little aside. Before I forgot about it, because you mentioned it, I was like,
yeah,
$1 million just on merch in one weekend.
Check out streamerwear.co.uk for your mark out of 10 hoodies, by the way, just as an FYI.
Yeah.
Okay, next match was the triple threat match for WWE United States Championship versus Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton. This match was fucking brilliant. I enjoyed this match so much. Such a great triple threat match.
We picked this out last week, didn't we? As like could be like a show stealer.
Yep.
I don't think it was a show stealer, but it was fucking brilliant. Really, really good. Really good. Little callback as well for KO and Sammy, like the sort of little role reversal thing. Fucking coming out in that little golf cart and then going back up the ramp to pick Randy Orton was so good.
So good. So good.
I love the bit he pulled up to the Prime truck, didn't he? Logan Paul come out in his Prime truck and Kevin Owens done the fucking crotch chop towards the Prime truck. Silly, but yeah. I just love stuff like that, little funny stuff like that. But yeah.
Randy Orton was all in for that match. He was hyped
he was
for
bang
it.
Up for it. Yeah, he was bang up for it. Yeah,
and I think that just shows the respect he's got for Kevin Owens, obviously, but also Logan Paul.
Yeah,
and he's
all three of those guys. Like you can tell they all get on. You said he was on his podcast and they were having a bit of a love-in and all that sort of stuff. And Randy and Kevin have obviously worked together in the past, and you can tell they get on and stuff. That's what just happens when you get people who are just on the same page. You want to go out and do some business and have some fun, right? Like you get good stuff happening.
Respectful to the business.
Yeah, massively.
And we talk very highly of Logan Paul in terms of, fucking just, how good he is. And it's just testament to that. The fact that these two veterans fucking put him over. Logan Paul retained as United States champion. We didn't predict that happening. Like we didn't see that. No, I thought Randy was it Randy we said we were going to go over?
I think so. It wasn't Logan Paul anyway, so
no. Huge.
In comparison to those two, because Kevin Owens is not a small guy. Let's be honest, Logan Paul isn't really a small guy either. No. Randy looked like a giant. It was like a dad in there with his kids. Like he was fucking huge.
It's like
dear.
We actually said in the middle of the match when he was doing like the double DDT from the rope, it's like it's about this sort of stuff. It's about moments in WrestleMania, right? And there were several moments. So I Show Speed did the KSI spot in terms of being in the Prime bottle, and
that's him, isn't it? I Show Speed, yeah. And I saw a clip yesterday or today on Twitter. Logan Paul bought him a Cybertruck to say thank you.
Wow.
I presented him with a Cybertruck. Like, see, this is for taking the RKO on the table for me, brother. Like, there you go. And he's like,
I think it was the build up to the RKO though. It was like he pushed Randy and then barked at him, and then Randy like pushes him over, pulls him out the thing, puts him on the table. And
Randy didn't just push him over. Randy was like, "Who is this little runt piece of shit in my fucking business?" And he booted the fuck out of him. There was no work in that at all. You could tell on Randy's face, he's like, what the fuck did he fucking touch? Fuck you, Bosh. Yeah. Brilliant.
And then he RKO'd him after barking in show of speed, and he actually got a bark chant as well. and do I know something? It's like I've never heard a bark chat unless a Steiner's involved at WrestleMania. But fair play to Show Speed. On his Twitter, he actually put out a tweet saying wrestling is real, and then it was like a love heart at the end of it. So it's like fair play. He's playing up as well the fact that it fucking hurt when he took the RKO at the table. So fair play to him for that. But again, great match. There were different moments in there. I think there was obviously RKOs left, right, and center, pop-up power bombs. Just fucking, it was so good. And yeah, fair play to Logan Paul as well.
We had a very, very big moment in there as well, didn't we? Talking of protective finishes.
Fuck yeah.
Talking of protected finishes.
Yeah. Randy Orton, RKO's Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens kicks out. And when we saw it, we sort of looked at each other like,
did that just happen? I think even the crowd were a bit like, because it was like it was a false finish. It was a big false finish in the match, and when he kicked out, people were like, "Huh? Like what? We meant to be like cheering now because like usually Randy wins, or like it was like what?" And it took a couple of seconds for the commentators to like start to put it over as well. They were like, "What? Did Kevin Owens just kick out of the?" Because they went to like another spot really quick after, didn't they? And they were like, "Shit! Like what the fuck?" I can't believe it.
You said a couple of minutes after it, you said they aren't making a big enough deal out of this. Do you think they tried? Do you think Logan was supposed to break it up?
I think they might have got out of it in a different way than that. Potentially, I don't know. But like Randy didn't look annoyed. It didn't look like they'd fucked something up. If you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it looked like a legit.
Logan. Yeah,
it looked like a legit kick out.
Fair play.
But yeah, that should have been. If that was going to be in the match, then there might have been a mess up. We don't know. But if that was going to be in the match, that should have been a big moment. Bang! Holy shit! Kevin Owens just kicked out the RKO. What the fuck's going on? But yeah, they touched on it, but they didn't make a big thing about it. It was weird, very weird. But
really strange.
Kevin Owens kicked out the RKO, man, at WrestleMania, in the middle of the ring.
Kevin Owens has his WrestleMania moment right there. But yeah, GG to Logan Paul. He is still the United States champion. Genuinely didn't expect that to happen.
No.
Moving on to the penultimate match, Bayley versus Io Sky for the Women's WWE Championship.
Love this.
It was a great match. Fuck it. Again, a proper wrestling match. And we said last week that we were a bit sad for Bayley because she didn't get the same sort of hype and build for this match. Like, she was a forgotten Royal Rumble champion. But again, the video package did what it had to do. They've done it with Nakamura and they've done it with Io Sky now. I love the promotional packages when they speak in Japanese and they've got the English subtitles. It is so fucking good. It legitimately gives them proper heel heat for me. It's just, it brings you, we say this all the time, it's cinema, right? And that's what it is for that particular type of heel. It's just a cinematic type masterpiece. And that sort of negated the fact, well, sorry, it caused us to forget there was no build-up in terms of a WWE push for Bayley and stuff, but this match was so good.
They still managed to make a story out of it, didn't they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The story was there, right? The story was there anyway, it just wasn't pushed as hard as other matches.
Yeah. I thought Bayley's entrance was fucking weird. I don't know what the whole, like, all them, the Egyptian thing was a bit odd, wasn't it? A bit strange, but, oh well, it's each their own.
But they made up for it with Io Sky, so that hers was sick.
Yeah,
it was so good. So
good. I think that they've built this, like, kind of, not slowly, but they've built it quite steady, because there was there was a bit. It might have been on a SmackDown because this is SmackDown, isn't it? Yeah. So there was a bit where Bayley was like cutting a promo on like Asuka and Io and Kyrie and all the like the damage control guys.
Yep.
And then she turned around and started speaking Japanese to them.
Yep.
This was like probably about 6 weeks ago, or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
And she was like that starts like, oh, I've heard what you've been fucking saying about me for like the past God knows how long, and like that proper start of like that breakdown in the damage control thing to where we got to now, it's went quite under the radar, quite slow and steady. But mate, Bayley's won the Royal Rumble and she can choose whoever she wants. It's like they immediately sort of pivoted to like Rhea and Becky. They've put a lot behind that, so I think it was a bit of a, not necessarily a fuck you or whatever, but it was like, we'll show you. Like, this is, you know what I mean? Like, give us a chance and this is what we can do. It was really good. And they can both work. Like, we know this. They can both work. And Bayley's phenomenal. And Io is just, she's class. She's a smaller worker, but she works big.
Yeah.
I think I've said this before, like trying to explain it. Just watch this match. Like Bayley's obviously a bit taller, then she's got a bit more weight on her. But Io doesn't look like she's much smaller than her. Like she works really big. Yeah, it's really good, and she's got one of the most like amazing moonsaults as well.
I was literally just about to say the most beautiful moonsault in the world.
It's fucking so good. But yeah, it's got to be best part of 15 minutes.
14 minutes 20.
Yeah, just steady, solid, really, really good. Really, really good, and Bayley gets a big Mania moment as well. Like she fucking wins the belt, right? And it was people were ready for it. We really were ready for it.
We were ready for it as well, and I think the turn for Bayley to be babyface and not go back to the hugger Bayley babyface, but a sort of a darker babyface, if that makes sense. That's really, really good for her. I think that's going to be really good moving forward to see how this goes. And I want to just go back to the beginning of the entrance for Io Sky, her entrance, having like Dakota Kai come out with Asuka and Kairi Sane, and Dakota Kai was still in her like non-selling the previous night, which again, that's what you're wanting, right? You're wanting that sort of realism in that. But yeah, Bayley defeating Io Sky to be the new WWE Women's Champion. So fair play to Bayley. Congratulations, Bayley.
It was just. You mentioned about the card, like for the first night, like the card, like making like really good sense and like it flowing really nice. I thought this second night was a lot better.
Yeah.
In terms of where they put stuff, they give us big stuff when they needed to give us big stuff, and they sort of brought us back down when they needed to bring us back down. But it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
It's like when you compare the cards, though, right? The second night was stacked in terms of names.
Yeah,
like
big time.
Huge. Drew, Seth, Bobby Lashley. We'll see Karrion Kross in there, and probably not the same level. Ellie Knight, AJ, Logan Paul, Randy, Kevin Owens, Bayley, Io Sky, and then our main event, Cody versus Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman by his side. It's a Bloodline Rules match because of the stipulation from night one for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Over half an hour long, 33 minutes. What a fucking match this was, man. And go for it. Go.
This is my favourite match from the whole show, from the whole weekend for me. People say, "Oh, of course it is because Cody won and this, that, and the other." It's not even because Cody won. Like, obviously, a big part of it is because Cody won, and we got the moment. He finished his story and all that bullshit. But this was Avengers, wasn't it? Basically.
Yep.
Like a Endgame. This is literally what it was. It was. I said this of how we needed this to work. We needed him to lose the first night and fight from underneath, come from against all of the odds, with a little bit of whatever, a bit of a schmoz, a bit of help, a bit of like help along the way or whatever, and come out on top after having the playing field leveled by shenanigans and stuff. And they couldn't have done it. I tell you what, they could have done it better.
They could have done it better,
which we'll get into. But it was back and forth. Cody is so good at having matches where it's like almost 50-50 in what he gives and what he takes. And I was watching this, and I was watching Roman, and I think I might have said to you at some point, Roman really, really gave a lot to Cody here as well. For a guy who had the belt for whatever it was, over whatever fucking hell. How many days was it? 1,300 or something? Yeah. Over 1,000 days on a big show, and to have all the world watching him and stuff. There's guys in the past who would have sandbagged. There's guys in the past who would have buried. There's guys in the past who would have shit on Cody. But Roman done all the business you would need. And he made the match really good. And for a big guy, he can really sell now. Obviously Heyman was there doing his little bit, which was amazing. I love watching him in the background with all his facial expressions and all of his stuff. You had obviously Jimmy come down, and you had Jay come down for the save as well. We had Solo come in, which is basically a callback to last year. So everyone think, okay, he's going to come in and cost him the match. And then we had John Cena for the run-in. Then we had a great moment with the final boss coming down, the face-off in the ring. I sent you some footage, didn't I? I had a video sent to me the other day, and they basically played it exactly how they played it when they had their first WrestleMania match, like the face-off, the head turn thing. It was almost like to the fucking millisecond as well, wasn't it? It was mental.
Scary.
Obviously, Rock Bottom's Cena, and the pair of us were screaming for a glass shatter, weren't we? If we filmed that, we didn't want to film it because we wanted to just enjoy it. And like, I think I was in my pajamas and you were in your fucking snuddy anyway, so we were just like chilling, eating crisps, watching it, just marking out,
so good,
and just enjoying it for ourselves. And I was fucking back here somewhere going mad, like come on! If that glass shattered, I don't think me and you would still be here. Would be here today. We would have just internally combusted and just exploded. We would have been dust if that glass shattered.
I would have shat myself first, and then it would have internally combusted, and then just been dust. Yeah, absolutely.
But we had a bell gong, didn't we? which is not as good, but it's getting up there, isn't it?
Good, right?
It's getting up there. Lights go out, bell gongs, turn round. Taker's there, wide-eyed, looking badass. Choke slam on the Rock. See you later. Bish, Bosh, and Boogie. And then we go into the finish. Dude. Go on.
I mean, before we go into the finish, there's just a couple of points I want to say. It's like, obviously, I'm a huge Undertaker mark. I've said that all throughout. The glass smash, that was Undertaker. That was Stone Cold's spot, right? So I don't know what's happened there, but it was written to be Stone Cold's spot.
Yeah, it had to be.
But for me, to hear that gong at WrestleMania, it's, to hear the glass smash anywhere is great, but there's something special about a WrestleMania Undertaker, and the lights go out and he's there. Just something simple. That's all it is. It's simplicity. It's personified. And can I say the interaction between Jimmy and Jay was better than the actual match?
Yes.
It's literally like 45, 60 seconds worth of fighting on the ramp, and then Jay does this fucking crazy spear off the stage through the tables, and that was it. It's like it was a big moment, but it wasn't like too long. It was just everything was done to perfection, and then, like you say, the finish happened. Seth Rollins. Oh, we forgot about the fucking Shield moment, right?
Fuck me, the Shield. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to hold my hands up here. See, when the Shield music hit, for a moment, I thought Dean Ambrose was going to come with Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
There was a bit of me in the back of my head that was like, if that happens...
Is this going to happen? This is going to happen? Yeah.
Yeah, but it didn't. It was Seth and his Shield gear.
Yeah. He got wiped out pretty quick. He didn't even get a chance to see him come in, really.
No, he didn't. He didn't do anything, which again it alludes to the fact that he's properly hurt. He's fucked. And there was a stage coming on to the finish where Roman is standing in the middle of the ring. To the left of him is Seth Rollins. To the right of him is Cody Rhodes. Roman's got a chair. He looks, and it's a throwback to when Seth did exactly the same thing to him. Yep. It was the turn.
Yep.
He rattled fuck. And it was also a throwback to the match that they had where Roman batters fuck out of Seth Rollins, saying that he caused this, he made me be like this. That, again, check out that match as well. And he batters fuck out of him with the chair. Basically, he falls out. And then, obviously, Cody Rhodes gains the upper hand. Was it 3 Crossroads?
Yes.
3 Crossroads.
Because last year, he was just about to give him the 3rd, and that's when Solo came in.
Yep.
So it was 1, 2, milk the 3rd, bang.
1, 2, 3. Now, before we go on to the celebrations, etc., I thought, again, perfect psychology and perfect storytelling, because Seth Rollins, even though he didn't get involved, he didn't have to action anything, he was Cody Rhodes' shield. You know, he said it on a Raw, I can be your shield, and that's exactly what he did. He didn't need to hit Roman Reigns, he didn't need to fight Roman Reigns, he was there just to ensure Cody Rhodes didn't get fucked by Roman Reigns, and I think that's testament to the storytelling and booking power of like Triple H or Paul Levesque and his booking committee. Fucking incredible. Go to the celebrations, Hawxy.
We're talking about my celebration. I was watching it with a tear in my eye. I fucking loved every single bit about this, and I love a good pop anyway. A big wrestling crowd pop always gets me all emotional and stuff. But I wanted this more than anything that I can remember in a long time when it comes to wrestling. Whoever's listened to this show before, it was just a beautiful thing. Talking about like building layers of like emotion and like just they couldn't have done it any better with the way they built the whole match. And as soon as that 3 count hit, I lost my shit. I thought I was gonna fucking pass out. I was just like it just couldn't come out of me fast enough. It was amazing. Everybody was there. This is where I said it at the start of the show that we've done tonight. Today, it felt different but familiar at the same time. This is where it became a different show and a different presentation, but for all of the good reasons. You have a boxing match, you have a World Cup win, you have a fucking whatever, the Super Bowl, MMA fight, like any sporting event. When someone wins the big one, when they win the big cup or the big title, they don't just go to credits with them standing on a rope going, yay. They have the interviews, they have the celebration. You have, like, if they win the World Cup, they're walking around the stadium with a fucking cup, with the cup in their hand, and they're like celebrating with people. Like, this was just amazing. Like getting Mama Rhodes in there and Brandy was in there. It's open mic night, bitch. Like everyone was ready to go.
Can I say the Brandy when Cody came in, she got a massive pop from the crowd as well, and his entrance, which was really nice.
Love that. Yeah, they
really good.
Yeah, when she poked her head into the. To be fair, I had a little pop for that as well. To be fair, yeah, there she is. She's there. Grabbing the mic and saying like, "There's a guy who really, really doesn't want me to do this," and he's probably shouting and kicking off. Like firstly, I want Bruce Pritchard because I wouldn't be here without him, and secondly, get like Triple H, get yourself down here. Paul, I want to see you. Like having everybody there, like Cena came in, Randy Orton came in, like all the faces, like had him up on his shoulder, like with Jimmy and all that. Like that's Jay. Sorry, that's Bret. It's the Bret Hart moment, isn't it? It's like that's what we want to see. It's feel good. You said it earlier on. It's the moments, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that would never, ever, ever have happened if Vince McMahon was in charge and he was back there on the cans, he would have said, "Get up on the top rope. We're going to fucking credits. Hold the belt above your head, or put it on the floor." Like, there'd be no mention of Dusty. There'd be no mention of anything. There'd be no nothing like that would have happened. It was just, and it was perfect, man. It was perfect.
Truly is the Paul Levesque era, right? It's like you say, it would never have happened. I said to you, it's like when Cody got the mic, I was like, when the fuck would this have ever happened at WrestleMania? Talking at the end of the main event, it would never have ever happened.
Nope.
And again, it very much is the end of the story, right? Well, we say that the Bloodline story, the Bloodline saga, we'll call it, because every face that was in there had direct root on that journey of the Bloodline. On a LA Knight was in there, Randy Orton, Cena, Jey Uso, and Sammy, Seth. It's just, it was all so good, and it was that final like sort of exclamation point at the end of a long ass story, but in terms of long-term storyline, one of the best we've seen in a long time.
Dale, we'll be speaking about this in 30 years' time, when me and you are old and grey and retired and whatever. We'll be saying, "Remember WrestleMania 40 when Roman Reigns got the belt to Cody Rhodes?" Like,
apparently we're old grey and now American.
Yeah, having no teeth. having no teeth makes you sound like Homer Simpson's dad. But like, that's what it'll be. We'll be talking about this. That genuinely, this is one of my. If I was to redo the top 10 pay-per-view shows again, it would be different. My list would
definitely be on it.
My list would be different. Yeah, this would
100%.
be this would be towards the top half of that list.
Yeah.
1,000,000% for me. And it's not because I'm like I'm still high on it, because it's like, I feel like a little kid with a new toy or anything. Like, it's the build, the storyline for all the matches, the payoffs for 95% of them, the actual matches themselves, apart from the Usos match. Name me a better pay-per-view than this, dude. You know what I mean?
I can't. No, absolutely not.
It's a great night. Great show. They pulled the trigger when they needed to. They've had the feel-good moments. Everything's changed. It was the start of a brand new era and a brand new chapter in professional wrestling for the WWE and for wrestling as a whole.
It shows how it should be done and how it can be done in the modern era, which I think is phenomenal. I just want to put.
Why hasn't it been like this forever?
Yeah,
why hasn't it been like this forever?
I want to put a little addendum in as well. It's like, obviously my opinions of Cody throughout, from Royal Rumble to Mania, I didn't get it. It's like, I understand the pop he got, and I said to you, it's like, obviously I don't want him as champ. That's just my opinion, but I understood, and I said that to you. I understand why they gave him it, and
you get it now.
Well, sort of, yeah, a little bit. For me, it's still not my taste, but that's cool. It's not for everybody. It's like, some people like vanilla, some people like chocolate, some people like strawberry, right? But for me, and I said this to you, this was wrestling when it's at its best. It's doesn't matter if you boo or hate the reaction, because I popped, when he got the 3 count. I was there with you. I was like, maybe not as much, but that just shows how good, and we say it all the time, when it's good, there's nothing
better.
Yeah. And long may it continue. So I put it out on Twitter.
Yeah.
Mark out of 10 are Paul Levesque guys.
100,000,000%. Like I said, just please don't be a cunt. Please don't turn out to be a cunt, Trips, because I will be fucking heartbroken.
I'll be devastated.
We need you now more than ever before. This is where we need this. We need all of this now, especially after what happened last night on Dynamite. We need more of this. We need all of this. It's going to be brilliant. Please, Paul, don't be a cunt.
Clip it.
Oh dear.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for hanging on to the end of this podcast. I really enjoyed this one, Hawxy. Thank you for that.
Yeah, it's nice to just catch up and decompress and talk wrestling, right? That's what it's all about.
It's all about wrestling. yeah, if you enjoyed the podcast, as ever, 5-star rating, share it with a friend because it all helps with the
algorithm.
Do all the socials, wrestlemark10@gmail.com. Let us know what you thought of Mania over the 2 days. It was a great weekend. We want to hear your opinions. Put a comment on our YouTube channel. Tweet us, mark_out of10, or on our TikTok and Instagram. We'll get back to posting regular. I just didn't feel it was relevant to do what we did last week.
It was a preview, wasn't it? Yeah, it's pointless talking about stuff before when it's already happened. So,
exactly. I didn't bother doing that. So we'll get back to that as normal. And next week, we will have the babyface list.
We'll have the list.
We'll have that out of the way.
Promise.
We promise. Unless some fucking shit show happens, then we'll wait and see what happens. But yeah, from Shieldz, hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.
From Hawxy, have a great one. I look forward to catching you guys next time. Bye.